Hi!
Welcome to Scripts and Giggles with Shoshanna
And Marnie.
So, we are in Christmas season.
It's Christmas season.
Woo-woo.
What's your favourite Christmas song? I mean, like, not him.
No, not him. Oh.
No, I'm just saying, because
No,
I actually
him.
have many
No.
Christmas hymns. But I mean, like, what's the song you hear at Christmas time and you're like, it's Christmas?
All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Really?
I'm telling you, it's a classic. Or Paul McCartney, Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time.
Yes, they played that in the office today, and I was like, this is
That's
actually,
Christmas,
this is the one. This is the Christmas one.
Some people don't like this song, but I really like it.
But you hear that, like, and you're like, it's Christmas time!
Yeah, it just feels warm and fuzzy and reminds me of eating jollof rice.
That's exactly what.
Jollof rice and roast.
That's exactly what Paul McCartney was hoping it would come across in the song when he was singing it. He's like, I just want people to feel like... Sorry, he's from Liverpool. I just want people to feel like... It doesn't sound like anything. Just make it northern. I just want people... Yeah, I'm making them northern. Generic northern, to feel like they've had a roast. This accent is all over the place. I was going to say, my accent. I want people to feel like they've had a roast, they've had some jollof, lovely jubbly. Only fools and horses.
Oh my god. How has my guy gone from Liverpool to Peckham? Ow.
Listen.
What's your favourite Christmas song?
Yeah, I love that song.
Is that your favourite one?
I literally, in the office today, they're playing non-stop Christmas songs.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, I'm already at like, enough.
Max, yeah.
When that one played, I was like...
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time.
Oh, and also my actual favourite song is obviously Wham! Last Christmas.
Oh yeah, Last Christmas. Last Christmas hits in a different way when you know that George Michael died on Christmas Day.
What?
Yeah, he died on Christmas Day.
It was Christmas Day?
It was Christmas Day they announced that
Why
he
do I
died.
think it was But did he die on Christmas Day?
That's what they announced that he did.
But did he die on Christmas Day?
Well, I don't know. But they just announced that he did. I mean, it was very...
I thought he died on New Year's Eve for some reason.
No, because I remember my sister made a, I don't know, ill-timely joke where it was like, well, that definitely was his last Christmas. And that's how I always
finish.
And that's how I always remember. But it was a very again ill-timely or perhaps perfectly timely joke because it was on Christmas Day that she made that joke. But
I love George Michael.
Yeah, that was a great song.
I actually love George. I love him.
Yeah.
So
I've started singing Destiny's Child's one. Doesn't it feel like Christmas? Even though it's not my favourite, it's just like gives me the vibe.
Yeah, that's not really one that immediately comes to my head. But when I hear it, I'm gonna be like. I know the fans, the lads, the ladies are loving this because we are great singers.
Well, after the last episode.
No, because sometimes we were deliberately singing badly.
Yeah, I agree.
And sometimes we were just on the same note.
Yeah, we were. Do you know what? When I listened to it back, it wasn't that bad.
I was like, oh my god, this is going to be a nightmare. And I was just like, this is in tune.
My ears weren't bleeding.
A lot of it was in tune.
Yeah.
Lyrics were not there.
No. There was
off book.
There was a lot of la 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 la.
We were not off book at all. That was clear.
Yeah.
But we were in...
We're in sync. We're in harmony.
And also we were conveying the feeling of the song.
Which I think is the most important thing.
So important.
Yeah. I went down a massive rabbit hole of X Factor Christmas #1s with my sister over the weekend. Leona Lewis, A Moment Like This. Listen to that song again. It's a banger.
She can sing.
She can sing. We tried to hit that note.
What was Gareth Gates' one? He was before X Factor.
He was before X Factor. Will Young was Unchained Melody.
Was it?
Oh, what?
It's going to really bother
It's going to annoy me.
Do you know that Darius is dead?
I know. It's so sad.
It's very crazy to me because he can't be that old.
No, he wasn't.
And he's such a part, like low-key, a big part of my childhood because Pop Idol, massive. Gareth Gates, Will Young, and Darius.
Yes.
Will be in my brain for the rest of my life.
Mind you, Darius didn't even win.
He didn't win.
Gareth Gates didn't. But Gareth Gates was one of the first signs where you don't have to win.
Gareth Gates did win, didn't he?
No, Will Young did. So Gareth Gates proved that you do not have to win to make it big. How many
I always had a crush on Will Young and not Gareth Gates. And that explains a lot.
And that's very interesting.
Honestly. I blame Will Young for the 10 plus years I spent lusting after men, heroes, fact, gay men. Will Young, you have to answer for your crimes.
But it was not my fault.
It was his fault.
No, he didn't need to tell anyone that he was gay.
No, he didn't have to tell anyone.
Yeah, so, you know.
Like, if he told me, I could have been like, before I have a crush on you, let me understand that you are off limits. So I was like, well, I have a crush on Will Young. And then they were like, you know, Will Young's gay. I was like, well, I guess I have a crush on gay men now.
Then it continues.
Great. So here we go. Another complex.
Interesting.
Another list of people that I just immediately, I'm like, I love him. He's so cool.
And it's like, but he don't feel you. He doesn't think the same
Lisp
way.
as well.
No, that was Gareth Gates.
No, Gates had a stutter.
Oh, yeah.
Get your speech
I'm
impediment.
sorry. I'm so sorry. All I was like,
that's how you know this was almost 20 years ago,
it
because
was a while.
there were two most famous people in the country,
yeah.
and one of them had a lisp and one of them had a stutter.
But they had amazing voices.
They did have beautiful
Where
voices.
were the women in this show?
Yeah, there was none.
I can't. All I remember
There
was
was
like
not one woman, clearly.
It was the pop stars where it was like Girls Aloud and then One True Voice.
One True Voice?
I think it was One True Voice was the other person.
I didn't know who the other group was. I only know Girls Aloud
It was
because
just-
Girls Aloud did that.
Yeah, they did it.
They
But
did
no,
that.
but One True Voice.
Girls Aloud walked, so Little Mix could No, I'm like, Girls Aloud walked so the Saturdays could run, so the Little Mix could become the most famous girl band that ever existed.
Or that Little Mix could fly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so
Girls
good.
Aloud, the
Little
Saturdays,
Days and then
Little Mix.
wait, was the Saturdays from X Factor? Or
Yeah,
they
weren't they?
right.
They weren't made. The Saturdays didn't make it.
They were pulled together like
Yes,
like One
yeah.
Direction. Actually, you know what? One Direction. I was talking about this with my sister as well. I was like, the way that the producers
Beatles walked.
So I think that, you know, we should have overshoot there. One Direction was great, but you know,
Are the Beatles even that good?
they were one of the greatest at that time.
Yes, who was One Direction was the greatest at that time? What are you talking
One
about?
of.
Yes, so the Beatles walked so that
Yeah,
One
but
Direction could run.
I'm sorry, the Beatles, Boys to Men, One Direction.
There is no line between the Beatles
I don't
and
know.
Boys to
I
Men.
mean, absolutely none. But
It's
you know,
the Jackson 5, Boys to Men,
true. NSYNC.
Pretty Ricky. That's the line.
Oh my god. Was it Pretty Ricky one boy?
No, Pretty Ricky was 5 guys.
Were they?
Yeah, they were bad.
What about BMW? B2K?
Oh yeah, I got it wrong. Jackson 5 to Boys to Men to BTK to Pretty Ricky.
I don't even think I don't even know what Pretty Ricky was.
Grind with me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a deal. That's
Pretty
a
Ricky,
vibe.
they were children. They should not be singing that song. Absolutely not.
They weren't children. They were like 18.
Yeah.
I mean, now we would say they were children, but at the time we were children. When they were children.
like. But B2K was probably the band that was like the last big boy band that I remember and like loved. Oh yeah, apart from One Direction, I did like them, but they were again too young.
Backstreet Boys to NSYNC pipeline. But who was before Backstreet Boys?
The
Hanson.
Beatles.
Yeah, go.
Joe, 50 years to Backstreet Boys.
I love the Beatles.
Backstreet Boys. NSYNC.
Or One Direction. That's the pipeline.
Actually, no. Who was before Backstreet Boys? It was like
Hanson.
no, really?
I think they were actually coming out at the same time.
Maybe, yeah. He was
But
like
Hanson could never sing Backstreet's Back.
No, they could not.
But
I mean,
Backstreet Boys could sing Bop.
They could,
for sure.
100%. And also make it sound so much better, like bah. There's a little effect to it. And what else of that? Like auto tune.
Backstreet Boys could do Bye Bye by NSYNC, but NSYNC could not do Backstreet's Back. They don't.
don't
They
think?
just don't have
I think
that like teenage. Because
Yeah.
they were so young, so much
Yeah.
younger than Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, I don't know.
Backstreet Boys just seem a bit more urban somehow.
I
Even
thought
though everyone
NSYNC
knows Justin Timberlake is black.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
No,
but back when Justin Timberlake was black.
Yeah,
Actually,
but
he was black after NSYNC,
wasn't-
really. No, he
yeah.
was kind of black because he had that curly
Yeah,
hair.
he was. Yeah, he was the only one who was like, "No, I'm gonna keep my roots." Literally.
It's like all these white boys and then Justin Timberlake ethnic.
Like, who is this boy? Who is this guy?
Ethnic lad.
And then he was like, "No, but I'm black though." And then now, Or after Janet Jackson,
he's
he was
a
like,
white
no,
dad.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's become an absolute dad.
Yeah,
It's actually quite
the
depressing.
music is interesting. Yeah. I'm now trying to think who was before Backstreet Boys. The Osbournes, the Donny, you know, the
Osbournes after, again, they're after the
ABBA.
Beatles. ABBA's mixed group.
Yeah, they
we
are,
don't really,
sorry.
we don't have a current, we don't have
Who
mixed
is
Steps. It went ABBA,
Oh.
Steps, and Steps are iconic.
Yeah, Steps
whether you
are.
like it or not.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's true. Actually, after that, there was no real, like, mixed band apart from,
Liberty
like...
X.
Yes, Liberty X! Oh my gosh! That's a throwback. I was about to say, everything about you so sexy.
That was really when I was like, oh
my gosh,
this is a bad
this
word,
is a
but
really
it's
bad
a good song, so
song.
we're just singing it.
And you know, Big Brothers. You know what, Big Brothers? 21 seconds.
No, that's so solid crew.
So sorry. Just that one song.
Just that one song. Big Brothers is actually. Do you know what? I saw a TikTok where someone had gone to like a night out and Big Brothers came on and performed.
That's what it is. Yeah, over the weekend. Yeah.
And I was like, how had I forgotten about these lads?
Yeah, but
They were big.
But where'd they go? N-Dubs. Na-na-nai.
Nah.
Na-na-nai.
And Dubs is.
Na-na-nai. Talisa was a judge on X Factor. We were looking. Could you believe it? I literally was like, times change. Talisa was a judge, and this girl thought she was on top of the world.
Do you know what? It's actually crazy that Talisa got to be a judge on X
I know.
Factor.
And she was Cheryl Cole.
But it could, there were all these other girlies that were doing what Talisa was doing.
Yeah. Again, na-na-nai.
No, that's crazy. That's crazy. She was a judge on X Factor before Alicia was on Britain's Got Talent.
That is shameful. That is shameful.
Mystique.
Mystique, that was a great band. There was like Destiny
Edge Jobs,
Child.
Mystique,
Yeah.
they're not even in the same
No,
category.
no.
It's Mystique all the way. Mystique.
There was Destiny Child, En Vogue, Mystique. I mean, we're now moving between continents now, but
Mystique and
Sugar Babes.
Mystique and Destiny's Child would have been contemporaries.
Yeah,
Like the
same-
end of
yeah.
Mystique, the beginning of Destiny's Child.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was the way
Probably
around.
overlapped. No.
Destiny Child was after Mystique.
Yeah. I feel like.
Really?
The tail, like the end, the last
I
5 years of Mystique.
I feel like
was when-
Cleopatra was like before. That's not it.
Cleopatra was before both of them.
Yeah, for me, like Cleopatra, then Destiny's Child, then Mystique. Oh, we need to do our time. This is gonna be another
At
segment.
the live show, we're
Yes.
just gonna randomly do a music timeline of us trying to
Yes.
figure out where people fit.
And then
we'll
do
make it a
karaoke.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do karaoke. We'll make it a game. We'll get girlies to come up. They'll guess where they think these things go. And if they're right, they get a prize. If they're wrong, they have to sing the entire discography of
I'm
sing
finished.
every single song.
We need to actually get people to come, and you can't be telling them you have to sing a whole discography.
I think it'll be fun. I think we can get people to come who are not even listening to the pod just for a good night.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, why not? But yeah,
Should we move on to pop culture news?
I think we should.
So, pop culture news.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but my timeline has been inundated
Yeah.
with tweets about a certain morning show pair
Okay.
who may or may not, and I think we're all quite confident that they were, having an affair while both of them were married. And for some reason this has come out on page 6.
Yeah.
And nobody has stopped talking about this since, on my timeline at least.
No, I saw it over the last week. It was like a news story on Kempire, who I follow on YouTube, and he mentioned this story, and I was like, one, of course we're not in America, and I don't even watch this show, but it's so fascinating.
Honestly.
So fascinating.
I feel like my timeline of this story was seeing the post he did for his wife on their 10-year
God.
anniversary, where he was essentially like, oh, my wife's a saint. I've done so many things to her that she should have walked by now, but she still sticks by me. I don't know if it's her black lady superpower.
He
or
did
what.
not say. He did not. He did not say that.
Look up the post.
No, he did not say that.
Look up the post. He basically wrote, I've done everything in my power to get rid of this woman, but she just won't go.
I don't know what is in men for them to think that they can write some
They hate
obscene
us.
messages about women and be like, but you still love me. But that guy who did a wedding post or engagement post and said,
she's not the most attractive.
Yeah, you're not the most prettiest girl in the world, but I got you. I'm like, who does that? I think they broke up. They broke up afterwards.
Oh, that's nice.
I mean, I'm sorry,
but I feel like that's a perfect example of, I imagine that she would have seen that, but like, oh, and then just the internet's furore about that's such a horrible thing to write about your wife probably influenced her being like, I don't want to be married to this man anymore.
No, I think I have to be honest. It's probably the uproar because it was shameful.
Anyway, so that was the first post I saw. The first post I saw was the 10-year anniversary message to his wife.
Should we give some names before we?
Yes.
So the anchors' names are TJ Holmes and Amy Robach, and they are on a ABC news show called GMA3,
which honestly sounds like the world's most boring show.
It does.
And the most interesting thing that's ever happened is that the two anchors are having sex with each other. So that his anniversary post was the first post I saw. Then I saw like posts where people were like, I saw a post that was someone had retweeted someone else's tweet, but like where it's like, imagine falling in love with the love of your life. You're having a moment with her in public, and everyone's telling you that you're a bad guy. And it was a picture of TJ and what did you say her name was?
Amy,
at a bar,
like
mumbling and cackling is what I can only assume they were doing because it was a photo.
Yeah,
and I was like, this is such a crazy take to be like, listen guys, they fall in love. Why are you guys being extra about it?
Because they're both married.
Well, they actually both got separated from their partners in the summer.
Yeah.
At the exact same time. But they're saying nothing happened before. Yeah. Of course something happened before. Yeah. He had also cheated prior to that. This is, I think, the most nuts part of this story. So, okay, let's say the two of them didn't cheat, right? They just both were like, they must have. This is the thing, it doesn't make sense, right?
Because the timings are a bit odd.
You clearly have had a thing that you were like, let's both go home and tell our partners at the exact same time. We don't want to be with them anymore, so we can be together. Prior to that, he had had an affair with a producer on the show.
Yeah.
Who, looks exactly like his wife.
Yep.
Which...
that one is maddening because you know, like, what's his name? The guy that cheated on Khloe Kardashian.
Tristan
Thompson, and he cheated on a woman that looks exactly like Khloe Kardashian. And every single person he's cheated with looks exactly like Khloe Kardashian.
He has a type.
And it's just like, but aren't you happy? Aren't you satisfied? No.
It's a sickness, because if you have a type and you're with the type and you still want more of the type, you have a problem.
Yeah. Or there's something wrong with your type.
You have a problem because what would hurt more? I think for me, if my partner was like, I'm so sorry I cheated on you, and then showed me a picture of the girl and the girl was me.
Look, spitting image to you.
Are you all there? No. If you show me pictures of the next girl, I'll be like, do you know what? Yeah, I'm not her. Fair enough. If that's what you like, that's what you like. How can you show me a picture of me and be like, I just couldn't stop myself?
That would be...
You have a problem.
It's messed up. It's messed up on another level. Honestly.
I would have to... I'm so sorry. I'd have to kill you. I would actually have to kill you. Then I saw a bunch of tweets which were like, look at them. The chemistry is off the charts. And I had a moment where I was like, imagine you being the wife of this man. Yeah. Going on Twitter, one, seeing that this thing is leaked, so here we go with the embarrassment.
Yeah.
And people are saying that him and the new girl look
I was like, smitten.
better
than
you two looked. Yeah. To be fair, I don't think he liked his wife. Because if you see that anniversary post, even the picture that he posted, I was like, you don't like this one.
I had to read it.
This cannot be the best picture of your wife. This cannot be the best. You've got her looking like she looks like someone. It almost looks like a photo from the 1920s.
No,
it's black and white.
I think I saw the top part of the post.
It just feels so like dated, and I just don't think you post that of someone that you love.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. I'm finding the post now.
It's very weird to me.
Yeah. I think he deleted his Twitter. He deleted his social media after what happened.
Really?
Yeah. So that's why I actually can't find it at the moment.
Well, as of today, at least,
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you what date it is. That's
No.
not useful. Both TJ and Amy.
And Amy, yeah.
Oh, don't know why I can't keep that name in my head. Have
Oh my goodness, you're right. But instead, with her built-in black woman superpower.
read the whole post.
Yeah, do you know what? We're going to read it now. The full post from TJ, I'm sorry to interrupt. This particular #decade challenge, this was around the time when everyone was doing the 10 years before and after. This particular #decade challenge is a little late, but 10 years ago, Marilee Fiebig married me. And despite my best efforts, she remained married to me the past 10 years.
Despite my best effort.
Yes, that's not hyperbole. I'm not being dramatic. I gave her plenty of reasons, excuses, and opportunities to walk her fine ass out of the door. But instead, I'm not even lying. That door, he put many O's. But instead, with her built-in black woman superpower, she showed a grace and patience that's incomprehensible. Asking her for another 10 years would be asking too much. You're damn right. Another 10 months? That may even be a stretch. If she gave me another 10 weeks, I should consider myself lucky. If she puts up with me another 10 days, I'd be grateful. Go leave. But sorry, that's my interlude. But if she would ever spare another 10 minutes of her time for me today, I should consider myself blessed. This is Marilee Fiebig Holmes, y'all. And I, TJ Holmes, do solemnly swear that I was her. #decade challenge. #3I.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what that means, but girl, you dodged a
Please
bullet.
look at
You
the
dodged a
pictures.
bullet.
It's your wedding
I think
anniversary
she
to
looks-
your wife.
She looks pretty in both.
I'm not saying she's not pretty, I'm just saying. This looks like funeral pictures. Have you ever seen a funeral pamphlet?
Oh my god.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's the two of you's wedding anniversary and you don't post a picture of the two of you.
Yeah.
You post what looks like a candid selfie and a picture from the wedding by herself.
Bruh!
Nothing
Oh my
screams, I'm
gosh.
leaving this woman in a heartbeat.
Why am I saying if you can give me 10 months? Tell me this. My guy lifted this from a song. He lifted this from an Usher, love song. That's basically it.
I saw a tweet where it's like, the green-eyed bandit strikes again. This guy has green eyes. First of all, this guy's not hot enough to be behaving the way he's behaving.
Do you know what the Green Eyed Bandits is a reference to?
Oh.
Real Housewives of Potomac.
Yes,
which
yeah,
we
yeah,
need
yeah.
to review.
I haven't seen any of it, but I will.
God.
I will watch it.
That being said, I've not watched it from the beginning. I've only started watching for the last couple of series when, unfortunately, Atlanta was really like dipping, so I had to jump ship to another.
Say the truth.
No, Real Housewives of Atlanta was really not. It was not in the same place.
Truth.
Yeah, and then I saw Potomac had black women, and I was like, I want to watch that too. So now the only franchises that I watch are Potomac, Atlanta, sometimes Salt Lake City, but I'm getting a bit tired of it. Plus, also the black cast, one left. She was the one that was married to her grandfather.
Oh,
no, sorry, her step grandfather.
yeah.
Either one is messed up, and then the second one, she's going to prison. So I'm just like, we are really just not. We're just really showing ourselves up in this franchise. So I don't really want to watch Salt Lake City anymore.
That being said,
Yeah,
this has been a juicy affair to watch.
it has.
Simply because they've been quite public there's photos of him like touching her bum or slapping her bum, like while she's packing up a car. I don't know when the photo is from, but like that here, they're at least together.
Yeah.
There's a video of them backstage at their morning show talking about like the best people to go for a run with.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I'm a follower or whatever. She's like, yeah, I like to be at the front of the pack, like leading the pack. His legs are wide open. Like this.
It's just a flirtation between them.
Yeah, it's great. When stuff like this happens on the internet, what I love is to see all these armchair psychologists, these armchair body analysis experts being like, you can tell by the way his finger is curved that he...
I'm so
like,
done.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm
Do you know
so
what?
done.
Sure.
I'll
take it.
I watched a segment when they were hosting at the Olympics last year. No, not Olympics, sorry. The Platinum Jubilee earlier this year. And they were like, can you see the flirtation between them, the banter between them? And I'm like, look, I'm not going to pretend I haven't seen this with like Philip and what's the other woman on... this morning, like
Holly?
Yeah, not flirtation, but they have good. You have to have a good rapport with your co-worker.
Yeah, of course you do.
But there's a fine line between having good rapport and then getting into each other's beds.
Yeah.
Or like taking the
Ending
boundaries.
marriages.
Yeah, and then ending marriages. Yeah, and then having that rapport. And it's hard because obviously you spend probably more time with your co-workers than you do with your loved ones, but many people are able to stay faithful.
I just feel like, so this man's been married twice before he married.
Oh, really?
Mary, what's her name?
Marilee.
That's the name of a woman. He goes, she.
Don't you dare.
Freiberg,
Marilee, yeah.
Freiberg, Holmes.
Phoebe Holmes, yeah.
He was married twice before her, I think, and each of those did not work out, but those women all look the same.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, how do you feel comfortable? This is my thing. I've always thought about this in terms of like, there was someone that I met once who made, I don't know, it was a very flirtatious interaction. Mm-hmm. But they had a girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And I thought, it'd be I don't know how if this played out where you left your girlfriend now for me, how I would ever not feel like at any point, if you meet someone, you could do the same thing to me.
Yeah. No,
so I don't know how you get with someone who you've had an affair with and feel like, oh, that's that.
And also, how
we won't do it to each other. It's like, of course you will.
How do you feel that security? Like, again, the famous saying, you get them how you lose them, and you lose them how you get them. Like, honestly, if you cheat, if you got the person from cheating, who's to say that they won't cheat on you?
I like the phrase, you start as you mean to go on.
That's a really good phrase.
And if you start in the shadows, secret creeping,
it'll come out in the light, baby.
It'll be secret creeping the whole time.
Yeah,
only
that's true.
In the future, you're not the one he's creeping with.
Yeah, that's true. And also, we keep on saying he, but it doesn't mean that she can't do it.
She was creepy. Yeah. Of course she was creepy. Yeah. She was married as well.
Yeah. It's just
sorry, I even say the most baffling part of this. When he was having an affair with the producer, both him and the producer were confiding in her, Amy, about their affair.
Oh my gosh. That part I didn't know. But that is even more messed up. If you knew, I'm not gonna lie, if you liked someone, but you knew that they were cheating on their girlfriend, what would possess you to be like, you know what, that guy, I still like him.
So the Page 6 article said, when he was having an affair with the producer, both the producer and him were confiding in Amy. Eventually this affair came out. His wife found out. She was obviously upset, blah, blah, blah. They decided they were going to work through it. She was upset that he was still friends with Amy. Yeah. And that Amy was still friends with the producer. Yeah. Because if you guys are supposed to be, you care about our relationship, you're my friend, why are you being mates with the girl that he was cheating with?
Yeah. And also, I think, from what I've read in previous articles, Amy and her husband, I think his name is David, I think he's an actor, and also TJ and the wife, Marilee, they used to be like running partners, like running couples. So they'll run together, they're really close. So there's like a break of girl code, a break of marriages, a break of everything.
Running code.
Yeah, running code. Yeah, you ran with my husband and you ran him away from me.
You know, couples that ran together are supposed to stay together, and all of a sudden couples that run together now are swapping partners.
Yeah. This kind of
maybe Marilee needs to marry
David.
Amy's, yeah.
That's what happened with, I think, Shania Twain. A friend of hers cheated on her husband and she went to go marry the husband, the friend's husband. Yeah. These things happen.
I just think cheating is so something about this time of year. SK, it's like just people being messy boots towards Christmas.
Yeah,
and that reminds me of Portia Williams.
Go on.
I will admit I do not know the ins and outs of this relationship, right? Yeah. But I did see a clip.
Yeah.
From Real Housewives.
Yeah.
Where she meets this man for the first time, and she's introduced to him by his wife.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I watched it.
And I just feel like this is this is not good.
What is even ironic, Portia brought the friend as a quote unquote friend of the show. Oof. That's how she introduced the friend to the show. I'm trying to get some names because it's nice that we can like give some colour to the story. But
anyway,
yeah, it's messy.
Question mark.
So much question. So much.
There's Portia and this woman's husband are now dating. Within a month, he's proposed to her.
Yeah, I know. And the thing is, so she did another
But
show.
wasn't Portia married when she was first came on?
She was married to a guy called Cordell, and then they divorced. Apparently, he was really abusive. I think there was also some gay rumors around him. And then she got a healthy amount of money from him after the divorce. Then she was dating this other guy called, I don't want to say Dennis. He was a hot dog mogul.
How could be a mogul of hot dogs?
I don't even know.
Don't
even know. And then they had a baby together. And the whole time people were thinking they were going to get married. And then she met Simon Gobadia. He's a Nigerian.
Yeah, you should know.
I should know how to say this
You should pronounce this name perfectly.
No, but from the picture that I saw of her wedding, she's not Yoruba. He's not Yoruba.
No, he's from Edo State.
Yeah.
He said. They said
but they did a show together separately of like Portia's family values, which I watched, and it was messy. I'm telling you, it was a messy show. They're fighting each other. Dennis, the ex, would come over, and because of all matters of trouble, Simon was there. Simon was like a big guy, older guy, just out of touch with the family, but she seemed to love him. It was messy, and then she kept saying like, "Oh, it didn't really happen. The timeline didn't overlap with the ex."
You have to say that though. You're not gonna.
Yeah,
Are
exactly.
you gonna go on national TV and be like, "Yeah, I stole this man from his wife. While he was with his wife, I was popping my pussy all over." Like, you're not gonna say that, are you? You're gonna be like, no, there was no.
But everyone felt that Simon was really just out there to get with Portia because she's a bigger star than his wife. Her name
What
is
does he
Fallon.
need stars for?
I don't know.
Does he not have his He has $44 million. What does he need a star wife for?
I think from what they were saying, he wanted clout. I mean, it's really hard because he's Nigerian, but I don't add more to
I'm gonna say something.
Go on.
Watching that clip.
Yeah.
Portia is curvier than his wife.
Yeah.
So could it not just be body?
Yeah, could be body. I mean, Portia is not even just curvy. I mean, out of this world.
The BBL is BBLing.
BBL all the way.
I don't think it looks good.
No, it doesn't. It looks like overdone and.
I'm not gonna say anything
we're not
because
gonna do it.
obviously
Yeah.
a lot of women have BBLs. You know, it is a preference. You do what you do.
Yeah.
I never want to judge a woman for what she does, but they rarely look natural.
Yeah, unless you do the quote-unquote country club BBL, which is like this little tiny one that makes your butt look a bit pert. Again, I watch a lot of plastic surgery
That is true.
videos, so I know about this because that's what Khloe Kardashian's done when she removed her original BBL and put a smaller one
What did Khloe
in.
Kardashian need a BBL for? She's already thick.
No, she was thick before, but when she lost a lot of weight, and then she wanted to have the same kind of aesthetic as her sisters.
Okay.
So, or as Kim, basically. So she got the BBL, and her BBL looked probably the most ridiculous of all three of them. I don't know why her one looked worse, but it just did. But then, yeah, now she's losing loads of weight. Same with Kim, going for the white girl aesthetic, and then like getting the country club.
I
BBL.
think that on the BBL chat, this is my only thing. Like, your body has to, for your body to look natural, needs to be in some form of proportion.
Yeah.
And proportion doesn't mean like it's exactly even top and bottom, because none of us are exactly even top and bottom. Some of us are top heavy, some of us are bottom heavy. Yeah. Some of us have an hourglass figure that is perfect. God has blessed you, but you know, like if I were to put on weight, I would be thicker at the bottom than I am on the top. Yeah. I'm just not busty. I never will be busty, but your thighs and your bum go together. So it's very rare that you have narrow thigh and a massive. It doesn't happen like that. Like, my sister has a really nice bum, but it's in proportion to her body. She doesn't have a massive ass and tiny stick little thighs. Come on, be realistic.
That's how you know someone has had a BBL. If your legs are looking bare skinny, tiny, but your ass is looking way too big. It's as if you're gonna be topple over.
And also, I do think. Listen, I know about butts. I think about butts a lot. I'm a butt connoisseur. I really am. A butt, to me, a good butt is about width and
depth.
Let's call it width and depth.
Yeah.
And so you also ideally have hips.
Yeah.
And you can tell when someone has a BBL. No hips.
completely straight.
Somehow they've triple cheeked up.
Yeah.
Come on, honey.
Oh, actually, the only person I've noticed that have had it and like has a very, very slim, like almost straight body is the influencer Lydia Dinga. Like, but she's a Ugandan. I don't know why that's irrelevant, but she's a Ugandan influencer on YouTube. She does a lot of like travel vlogs, and she recently got married and done like wedding vlogs as well.
Is she British?
Yeah, she's British. Yeah, but her butt is huge. But she has said it is real, and I'm.
Oh, it's probably 100%.
It's real, yeah.
Real.
But the thing is, like her body, and she said it like she's quite like she doesn't have a lot of curve around it, and she's done a lot of like walking to help like maintain her physique, but she's very straight. And if you saw her in front, she'd be like she's quite a small, straight, petite girl, and then she just turns around and you're like, damn.
But I've seen bodies like that are like 100% natural, and there is still like it's within reason. Like you're not sudden you can't go from having like hip measurement of like 32 to having a 44 size arms, but like nothing has happened here. It's just straight the whole way down.
That's weird. I mean, that's why Kim looked. I mean, I think she has hip, but it looks almost too much because it was like her top half is so small, and she keeps on losing more and more weight, so it looks even tinier, and her hips and butt are so wide. And you're like, what is going on?
Listen,
anyway,
you know what? I'm saying for me, your body. If I was gonna get any work done on my body, it would be to make it proportional.
Yeah.
So if I don't know how this would happen,
but
I suddenly put on only weight on the bottom half. And I was like, I'm happy with this bottom half weight, actually. I need the top to balance. Then I would get work done to be like...
Would you?
I mean, I say that. I'm not ever going to elect to be under the knife.
That's the thing. It's like, under the knife... like
willingly. Yeah. Of my own free will when I don't have to. That will never be... Yeah. I don't enjoy going to hospital. No. So I don't think that will ever happen. But if I was a person who made money off my body... That was the way I would get work to make my body proportional. Yeah. Because that's, for me, that's what a good body looks like. It's just top half, bottom half balance.
The crazy thing is that these trends always change. So you went to get your work done to have a certain aesthetic, and then all of a sudden 5 years later,
that's why you just have to pick one that you like.
That's why Wendy Williams had big boobs and always had big boobs. She didn't do her butt. She was like, I'm gonna always have the big boobs. The big boobs trend left. And it's probably what may come back. And she's like,
it probably will.
And her boobs will remain big because she got her boob job, a massive boob job, to make her that way. And she embraced her flat ass.
I just would.
She said it. No,
I'm not saying you did. Yeah. I'm just saying, if I ever got work done, I wouldn't get. I wouldn't like if I got my boobs done. I wouldn't be like, right, because I'm getting my boobs done. They have to be 30 Zs. Like I'm not doing that. I don't want people to look at me and be like, she's had work done. Yeah. The only people that would probably say that, people who've known me for a while, be like, your boobs were not that big.
Since when has your boobs just changed from like...
Your boobs are noticeable and they were literally unnoticeable before. So what's going on here? Like, I've been putting on weight. And like, you're lying.
No, you really are.
You're actually lying. No. So, I wouldn't want... I wouldn't want like a regular person to see me and be like, that person's boobs do not match their body at all.
Yeah, sometimes it's so obvious. I mean, if you get a really good skilled surgeon, sometimes it's just not noticeable, but most of the time you can just see them straight away.
I don't like this. I don't like how fake boobs look. Yeah. I just don't like the like. My boobs are actually pert and up, but they're small. That's why they're pert and up. That helps, yeah. If your boobs are big, then they change. Like the shape is different. Yeah.
They just droop a little bit more.
Yeah, but that's fine because you scoop them into a bra.
Yeah, sure.
And the boobs are boobs in. Yeah. Whereas like all day, every day, just like
and they just never go away.
They never go down. They're just there.
And sometimes it can cause things like back pain, or depending if you go too big, it can cause.
I already have enough pains in my life. No, I don't even know how my knees would. What my knees gonna do with this sudden? You put 5 pounds of weight on both sides of me. My knees be like, no.
Can't balance anymore.
Put me in a wheelchair. I can't move. Like it's yeah.
I mean, the only time that your boobs and your body will change is with pregnancy.
Yes, I'm gonna wait and see.
Yeah,
I think that's when I would genuinely consider work. Not the like if I
back.
If I'd had all of my kids, Not the snapback, because I'm not doing that every single time I have a kid. That's crazy. When I'm like, boom, that's enough children for me.
You'll do it.
I want to look like how I used to look. I want to fit in my old clothes.
It's too late.
It's not too late for me.
I think for me...
I would say, husband, I want the boobs that I had when I was pregnant, but I want the bottom that I had before. Make it happen, husband.
Gosh. No, I think, you know, it's God's gift to having a child, so you just embrace it.
Not me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Surrogate for the win. I can't even afford a surrogate. That's not even a thing I can
Alright, Kardashian.
Yeah. Call me Beyonce.
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, true.
She did not have blue eyes.
She did.
No, I think she had the other two. I just don't think she had blue eyes.
She did, because she showed us a pregnancy bump when she did Countdown.
And it was folded. Do you know what? She showed us the belly when she did Countdown.
Yeah.
But then she did an interview and there's a picture of her sitting down and there's a fold.
Yes, because your body folds. I know, I've seen the video. I've seen the video. But
only cushions fold like that. A real actual stomach. When has your stomach ever been like...
Maybe she had
and it had a whole baby
maybe
inside.
She had a protection around it because she knew that there's crazy people out there who were ready to kind of like try and attack her.
I bet she did use a surrogate. I just don't know why. Just be honest. What's wrong with using a surrogate? I don't get it. If you can't have a kid, you can't have a kid.
Yeah, but she's had 2 other kids after that.
Yeah, maybe the IVF wasn't working, and then the IVF was working. I'm just saying.
Either way,
I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. We will never know.
Yeah, we'll never know.
But if you did use a surrogate, Beyonce, I back you.
Yeah.
It's honestly none of our business.
No, it's absolutely not. But yeah, but she announced it to the world in a similar way to Keke Palmer, who announced that she was pregnant on SNL.
Who's the dad?
It's her boyfriend. She's her boyfriend.
Who's her boyfriend?
Some guy. I don't know what his name is.
That seems legit.
Yeah. Actually, the reason I said that there's a bit of a link between our pop culture news story because Keke announced that she was pregnant.
Woo!
Woo-hoo. And Keke used to be on a morning show called Strahan, Sarah and Keke.
Yeah.
Which was also known as GMA3.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they cancelled the show, I think it was last year, and they probably brought it back with TJ and Amy.
I know this!
Yeah. So they used to have those 3 together. I think it used to be called Sarah and... Strahan. And then Sarah went on maternity leave and Keke was like stepped in and then everyone loved her and then they were like, when Sarah came back from maternity leave, they made them a 3, like GMA3. So we have links, connections.
That's spooky.
It is, yeah.
I'm really happy for Keke Palmer.
Same.
I like her a lot. I think she's fun. She has like auntie energy.
We talked about this, didn't we? I think one time we did, yeah.
Maybe we did.
Yeah.
She has auntie energy, and so I love when I see an auntie become a mum.
She's 29, so...
I know, she said that on her during her SNL
really,
monologue, and I was like, 29?
I know.
When's your birthday? 30? December 12th? Or?
26th of August, 1993. I know.
Keke Palmer is a whole year younger than us.
I know, it's actually quite scary.
A year and a half for you.
Don't drag me.
You
don't drag
old
me.
bitch.
Don't do that. As if we're not the same age.
We're not.
But I do think we are.
I'm actually several months younger than you.
Yes, but either way, we are the same age currently.
Keke Palmer 29.
Your head. But you know, I'm happy for her. Like, she's had an amazing career, and it was a bit of a surprise, because I think there was some rumours for the last couple of weeks about her being pregnant.
To be fair, watching the promos for the episode,
did she look pregnant?
She was doing that classic thing that pregnant people do that I'm always like, this is such a big towel. And I've been thinking about this and like, I need to start transitioning these clothes into my wardrobe before I get pregnant so people won't know. But like, get really loose.
Yeah.
Like, nothing, even the way you put your hands, you're trying really not hard to not to touch any part of your body that would give away that there's like a bump. Yeah. So in the promo, her and Susan Bowen are doing the promo and her hands are like this in front of her, right? Yeah. And I was like, you look pregnant.
Oh my god, I haven't seen the promos.
You look pregnant.
No. But whoever got the...
But do you know what I will say? Face-wise,
doesn't
be able to tell.
Yeah. That's the thing.
And that is good.
Yeah, because I think when there were rumours, I saw it and I was like, I don't believe this. Maybe in my head I was like, she's so young. Like, no, she's not
a child.
She's a child, no. But no, she's pregnant. And then when she opened the bump, I was shocked. I was like, what?
I felt ill.
No, I just was like, oh my god.
Don't you think like
her
a baby
her bump looks beautiful. Like
so ugly. Oh.
No, I thought it was so beautiful, and also I loved it. Like, she wasn't wearing anything to cover it. She just had it open with her bare like black skin like shining.
Yeah,
they put some oil on it on top.
Blah, yes,
Fenty shine. Yeah.
But don't you think baby bumps are weird and scary?
Of course it is, because there's a baby inside, and I think it's only scary when they like the baby pushes their hand out and you can see the imprint.
That doesn't happen.
It does.
That doesn't happen.
Oh no, okay.
That's not real.
Okay, not the hand, but like they may move some of their limbs and you can see like a little bit of a poke. Like you see things.
Yeah, but you're not going to see a whole foot or elbow, face. Yeah, like, what do you think?
Okay,
this is?
maybe not that, but then you see the.
They're in a bag first of all, side of you, so they can't even do that. Even if they wanted to.
I think it's just the movement of the baby. That's what I think is.
That's
quite
why
cute.
it's so disgusting.
No, I think it's cute.
Like when she showed it, I was like, honestly, if you told me this was an alien, I would be like, yeah, that makes sense. Like the idea that a person is growing inside of your body is.
But she like
the older I get, and the more I realise that like that could happen to me, the more I'm like, this feels inhumane.
Oh my god,
it feels insane.
I think it's exciting.
In my tiny, look at me, I'm so small.
I think it's exciting.
Maybe for you, it's exciting for Keke Palmer. I'm excited for her, but me personally, I don't know if I could do that. I genuinely don't know. I would be upset that entire time I'm pregnant, I think.
I'll
be so uncomfortable.
It may feel uncomfortable, but the hormones will be they'll be pumping so much like different type of hormones, so you may be
only at the end.
Really? I thought it was like, oh yeah, maybe at the beginning.
No, when you push the baby out, your body is completely wrecked.
Yeah.
Then your brain's like, here's oxytocin.
Like,
here's
enjoy.
Oxytocin. It's so cool. Yeah. And you're like, yeah. And then 6 months later, when you're still pissing for a tube because your vagina doesn't work anymore, ripped from your lips all the way to your anus.
No, I just don't want to.
You're not going to be smiling, laughing about that baby no more. Let me tell you that. You haven't slept in 6 weeks.
I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about that part. But the baby, though, the baby.
I want the baby. I don't want to give birth.
It's all about the baby.
My cousin has a son, and my aunt has asked me if I can babysit for the whole day unassisted.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. How hard can it be? It's a baby. Like, what can he do to me? Like, nothing. But equally, I'm like, how will I know when to feed him?
Oh my gosh.
Because he can't speak.
Yeah, but you would know. I mean, ask the mum. The mum will tell you the different, like, things.
But, no, I'm saying, but, like, if it was my child, how do you know when a person who can't speak English is hungry?
Yeah, they'll give you signs.
How?
They'll start crying. They're crying,
but crying could be I'm tired.
Yeah,
crying could be I'm hungry. Crying could be I'm bored.
That's what you have to do. Experiment.
Crying could be I'm trying to have my voice out.
Yeah.
Does this work?
Honestly, I went to visit a friend who was recently given birth, maybe about a month before. The baby was so small and felt still so like new, and at one point the baby just started crying. It was like it was sleeping, and then it was doing that thing where it was like opening his eyes and then like making a couple of wells, and I was like, oh no, he's gonna stop crying.
That's what I like about babies.
They
act hard.
Yeah,
like,
but
my friends are here. Be cute. Why are you crying
I wanted, and so then they started crying, and then she was like, oh, I think he wants food. So then she, got herself out, got herself ready, and fed him, and then
would you get your tits out and feed your baby in front of me?
Well, she did that in front of me, and I didn't.
I'm asking you if you would do that. In front of me.
I would get a shawl.
No, I asked you.
No, without a cover.
Baby's wailing. Just.
Well, at that moment in time, the baby takes priority. So you.
Would you get your we've been friends for a while. You won't let me shake your sweaty hands, but will you get your tit out in front of me to feed your baby? Bear in mind, I'm not here to look at it.
No,
it's in the baby's mouth. So I'm actually not going to be able to see.
I turned round as she was taking the.
You were like...
I turned. Like, I was looking away. And I turned round, and then I saw the boobs. I was like, "Oh crap! I need to see it." I thought she had finished.
I must see.
No, see, that's the reason why I won't. I wouldn't do it.
No, because I feel like if you make eye contact with the nipple once, then you're like, "Okay, I don't need to look at this anymore." Yeah, but if it's in the room, I'm gonna be like,
"Oh, there's a nipple in the room. There's a nipple in the room.
Yeah,
free the nipple."
It will freak me out. I have to see it.
I think
if I'm looking at you and we're having a conversation, you were like, oh, he's grizzly, and then you were making eye contact with me.
I couldn't do that.
I would be like, this is unhinged.
No, I couldn't do that.
I'd be like, I have to leave. Shoshanna, I have to go.
No, our friend Caroline, Caroline has never done that to us.
Her son is 8 years
Yes, when he was born, you idiot.
I think that I would be like, oh, I think he needs a feed.
Yeah,
so that's my warning. I'm not going anywhere.
No.
I want to hear the tea.
No, can't you just go like, feed him or her? And
my breasts are not like, they're just not. They're not the main attraction. I don't think it's gonna do anything if you see them.
I'll be honest.
Nothing is gonna change in your life.
Me personally, I'd probably be like, you know what? He needs to feed. I'm gonna quickly just go up and give him a feed.
Oh, you're gonna go upstairs. I'm staying here.
I'm like everyone. Upstairs, yeah.
And do you know why I'm doing it? Because I want everyone to be like, your breasts are really nice. I'm like, thanks. Your breasts look so good. I'm like, yeah, I got them for the baby, but they're also for me.
If we had the group of girlies there, they will be like,
I would do
Shoshanna, pull them out. Let's see.
Shoshanna, get your tits out. The baby's hungry. Get your tits out, please.
And then I will get my shawl, my cover up. I'll cover myself and then
I'm not having
the baby. I will
say this. I'm not going to be
I'm not
going to be out in the street doing this.
No,
but if you could come to my house. If you'd come to my home...
Oh, I feel really uncomfortable just feeding my baby in your house.
No, if you had come to my home to visit me, and I was the person with the baby, I'm going to get my tits out.
Okay, cool. And if you came to my home, I don't know if I would. I will go to my baby's nursery room and then we'll feed him.
And what am I supposed to be doing?
Sitting there while I've already fed you, I've given you snacks.
Well, I'm getting my tits out while you're gone.
Can you imagine? I go, come back, baby's all happy. I'm like, why is your boobs out? And the baby will be like, oh look, more boobs. That's what happened when Caroline's baby, and I was holding the baby, and he thought that I was the mum, so he kept like turning towards my boobs. I was like, nope, not this boob, not this boob.
Kids love boobs.
They so do. He was like open, ready to go. I was like, no, Caroline, take your baby, please.
But my nephew is old enough. He's like 1. And I don't think he's breastfed anymore.
Yeah.
I was feeding him with the bottle, and he was like in front of me, and I was holding the bottle.
Oh, okay.
And he was like, knocked the bottle out of the way, and crawled into my lap.
Oh my!
And like got into position. So you need to hold him.
Oh my god!
And then he was like. He really was like, excuse me, this is how I want to be fed.
Oh my
And that was honestly the cutest thing. I was like, you're so clever. You're like the cleverest baby I've ever seen.
Also,
and I was feeding him and I was like, this is actually very calming.
Yeah.
Just like have the child on your lap and hold a bottle and know that when the bottle's empty, they're good.
Yeah, they're good. That's true. And then
or at some point they might move the bottle.
Yeah, they're like, I'm good. Or they was like, and then they'll just start crying. You're like, oh no, okay, what now?
Or they'll get a bit sleepy.
Yeah, sure.
At Christmas, was it Christmas? No, it was his birthday when he turned 1, and he'd been starting to get a bit grizzly. My cousin was holding him, and she was like, "Oh, I learnt this trick from my mum. When he's grizzly, if you go like that with 2 fingers over his eyelids and close them, he'll fall asleep."
That's
so she did it once, and like he opened his eyes again, and then she did it a second time, and then like a little bit of a pause, and he opened his eyes again, third time, out like a light.
That is so smart.
I was like,
good. I mean, a good tip for the future.
Literally, a good tip for the future.
Yeah.
Out like a light, she carried him into car because his mum was like, "Oh, when you pick him up, when you get up, he's gonna wake up. Didn't wake up. Put him in the car seat. Didn't wake up. Slept the whole time."
That's perfect. That's perfect.
All this to say, Keke Palmer, if you need a child minder, babysitter, I am your guy. I think kids are literally the sweetest.
I think they're really sweet, yeah.
Most pure angels on the planet, and that as much as I don't want to give birth to one, I don't mind them.
I love kids, and whatever God blesses me with, I will take.
I gotta take care of me first. To be a good mum, I need to be in a good place. And if my body is wrecked, I can't do that.
When you say the word wrecked, it's just gonna change.
No, I was in a Zoom call with some writers and we were talking about like people don't talk enough about how your vagina is never the same again.
No, I think, but you have to accept her.
Yeah, and I don't want that. I'm sorry, I don't want that.
Of course your vagina is going to change. A whole human came out of it.
And that's all well and good for you. That's well good for you, but that's not for me.
I don't.
And my body needs to be recognisable to me. I'm still trying to get to know it. I can't be like, what? New body. I wet myself every day. Like, no, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I was so young.
No, I don't know. It's a blessing from God.
It's a blessing from God.
Yeah.
I don't know who God is, but I will find out. And Keke, we were so excited for you. You were lovely on SNL. I had a really good time. They did a Drake PSA on SNL.
I did it. I didn't watch it.
And Keke said, "I'm not the Keke from the song Keke, Do You Love Me?"
Oh, that's perfect. Perfect.
It was actually very funny.
Quite interesting. Why
I really enjoyed it.
I will watch some of the sketches.
There's lots of women who were like, one time I saw Drake in a parking lot and then he used me in a song to say that I swerved him. Like, those women was like, well, I called Drake from the DMV to tell him that his car was ready and he used me as an interlude on his album, which is, if you know early Drake albums, he used to do that a lot. Yeah. Just have a track of a woman being like, I'm out, I don't know, I don't know what to tell you. He's a weird guy.
He is.
He's a weird guy.
I mean, how times have changed. People used to love him. Like, we want to be with
Keke
Drake.
didn't love him, clearly, because he was asking.
Do you love me?
He was really asking.
Are you riding? But yeah, should we move on from Drake, Keke, GMA3?
Who's on Bop Island and who's on Flop Island this week?
Oh yeah,
Keke's on Bop.
Keke definitely.
And
the
Bop
baby
is on Bop.
He is on Bop Island. Flop Island. I think TJ Holmes.
TJ Holmes on Flop. And honestly, Amy, sorry, you're on Flop as well.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you have to follow.
I don't know enough about you. Him, he's a serial adulterer. This might be your first adultery. Yeah. Might be your second. I don't care. You're on the Flop Island. And it's okay because the two of you are together, so maybe you can build a little Flop Island resort. I don't know. You, SK can be the entertainment at the resort.
And so is Kwame. Kwame's your DJ.
Who was Kwame cheating with?
No, Kwame just was like, he's
just there on Flop.
Yeah, but his song.
Drake is also there.
Yeah, but the entertainment is Drake. Opening act, Kwame.
What's SK doing?
Making
eggs.
He's
making a gushy. If you guys want to eat a gushy, he's making it. Wow. You're like, excuse me, should I use a fork to eat this? Or?
Oh my gosh.
This is pounded jam.
This pounded jam.
You can use a spoon, you can use your hands. You can use a spatula if you want. God, I would not want to visit Flop Island.
No, I'm good, thanks. I'm really good. I think we should move off the islands.
Row
away from the islands and move to a new island. I don't think... Loot is not an island.
It's not an island, it's a show.
It's a show. We should go and loot another island.
Why did they loot Flop Island?
No, but she got a lot of money.
But we've not looted any of our islands are completely sustained. No negative behaviours. We didn't loot our islands. We didn't colonise our islands. They were just two free islands that we have built things on.
Yeah. All right. And should we then move to the main review of the week?
So, review of the week is Loot.
Loot, yes, which is on Apple TV Plus.
The star of Loot is Maya Rudolph, who is the daughter of Minnie Riperton.
Oh yeah, I ended up reading up about her story. It's very, very interesting.
Daughter of Minnie Riperton. Yeah. She's married to Paul Thomas Anderson.
He's a filmmaker, isn't he?
He is a filmmaker. Yeah. He makes lots of very good films that I can't name off the top of my head.
Nothing to do with this show. Yeah.
And she was on SNL. I can't remember for how many seasons, but a long time. She belongs to the cohort that like Tina Fey and Amy Poehler were on. Yeah,
she was on there for 7 years and then returned as herself as a host a few times.
She left SNL and had her own little skit show, I think.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, like the Maya Rudolph Variety Hour or something that. And she's in The Good Place.
Oh, is she?
Yes, she is the judge in The Good Place.
Okay.
Who gets to decide who goes to heaven and who goes to hell. Well, who goes to The Good Place and who goes to The Bad Place, essentially. Yeah. And she was very fun on that.
I'll be honest, I haven't seen her in anything beyond SNL by this show.
Yes, but I think... Oh! She's also on a show that I love called Forever on Amazon. Her and Fred Armisen play a couple. One of them dies. The other one is sort of living their life and then one day chokes on a peanut and dies. They go to the afterlife and in the afterlife they're together again.
Oh my god.
And in the afterlife they're sort of like, I don't think I like you that much.
Oh my gosh.
But they're sort of stuck together. And it's basically about this couple who have to work through their issues that they had when they were alive that they never really had to address to come to this place where they decide whether or not they're going to stay together. And it's really beautiful. And Alan Yang, who directs a lot of the episodes of Loot, directed and created, I think, Forever.
Okay.
So that is a nice correlation. Yeah. You know, two people who've worked together, working together again.
Yeah.
So, why don't we talk about what the premise of plot?
Of Loot.
The premise of Loot. Oh my goodness.
Okay, so...
Children listening to this, never ever drink alcohol and never work. Because when you work, your brain gets tired and you can't remember words. What is the plot, is what I meant to say. But also the premise to Loot.
So, it stars Maya Rudolph as the wife of a famous billionaire in the tech world.
Jeff Bezos' wife.
Basically, yeah, Jeff Bezos' wife. It's given a bit of like Jeff Bezos' wife, Bill Gates' wife, that type of like, premise. So she's married to a famous billionaire husband called John Novak, who's played by Adam Scott of Park and Rec fame and other shows, Severance, etc. He has a very cute chin.
He has a very cute face. I just really like Adam's. When I see him, I feel calm.
Yeah,
Adam's got. You feel like you're in safe hands.
Yeah, exactly.
And usually, like in terms of cast members, and I will say this about the show. In terms of cast members, there were certain people I saw and I thought, oh, we're in safe hands.
Yeah.
This is going to be...
Yeah, you know, you have very reliable, trustworthy comedians who are on the scene. And
I don't know if they necessarily delivered on the promise, but
they're good actors. Well,
they usually are.
They usually promise to be good actors. We haven't even got to review yet. So yeah, she's married to John Novak. They've been married for a very significant period. 20 years, significant period of time. She finds out that John was cheating on her with his assistant called Haley. As a result, they get divorced and they didn't have a prenup. Like, gold digger.
Gold digger, and also you get the impression as the series goes on that she paid their rent while he was starting out. She
in his warehouse, in his garage,
So she supplied sort of support services to him during there. So
they divorce, and then as the divorce, there's no prenup, so they split the assets. She ultimately gets almost $86 billion from the settlement, including a number of different assets, different companies that John owned or they owned together. And so the story is really about her life post-divorce and having so much money that she's basically, quote unquote, looted the country because she earns so much money, or she has so much money now. And what does she spend the money on? As part of her, I don't know if she had the foundation beforehand.
You get the impression that she had the foundation, but it has not been in any way connected to the foundation.
She was in the foundation in name alone. It's called the Wells Foundation, based on her life, or supposed to represent her, and it's run by a team of actual people, real life people. I was gonna say humanitarians, but people that are philanthropists and people who are very passionate about.
Well, an accountant.
And
people who get paid to do their job.
Exactly, they get paid to do a normal job, white collar job.
At a place that they believe in the ethos of.
Exactly, and the Wells Foundation is all about looking after the local community, donating to a number of different causes. And
in South California, I think there's specific.
Exactly, yeah, because I think they make mention of some of the big issues in that area, including homelessness, etc. So she decides that she should take a more active role in the foundation, and it becomes a situational comedy because it's her leading this foundation. However, you have another leader who's there called Sophia, played by Michaela J. Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Who is known for
Pose.
I was going to say Fame. I was like, what's Fame?
She could have been Fame.
Oh, she could have, yeah. And she's heading up the foundation. She's
uptight.
Very uptight, but very passionate about the cause, and doesn't like the idea that Maya's character can just chuck money at the problem and it's all sorted. But,
Molly.
Yes.
Maya's character's called Molly.
Molly's character, yeah. Molly. So it's basically a very interesting story where you see the dynamic of this foundation, the different characters that are in there, including...
Molly has an assistant?
An assistant called Nicholas.
Called Joel.
Called Nicholas. Nicholas, played by Joaquin Booster. You have an accountant called Arthur, played by Nat Faxon, who's from Friends from College, which is a really great sitcom on Netflix.
She has a cousin called Howard, played by Ron Funches.
Adorable.
Lovely Ron Punches, honestly.
She also has a cousin called Kim, called Renee, played by Kim Whitley, who I love.
Yes, no, I love that episode, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. So yeah, basically it's a situational comedy about this foundation, and that is actually the central part of the story, and also the dynamic between, you know, how is life being a super billionaire, and can you detach being a human with so much money, and like what is the difference between like being a human but also being a humanitarian. I was trying to make that sound cool, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm at Model UN or something.
Yeah, exactly.
The task is to debate. I'm at a debate club and this debate. But
yeah,
I think you've ended on a good point there, which is what my one of my issues with the series was.
Yeah.
Which is the idea of a billionaire who's married to a woman whose whole life is that she's this ditzy housewife who throws garden parties and cocktail parties and doesn't have a job and has no connection to the real world. I feel like, I don't know if this was helped or hindered by the fact that Jeff Bezos went through quite a public divorce with his wife around the time that this was either in production or about to come out. But as I was watching this, I was like, I feel like the basic reading of a woman who's married to a billionaire is that she is a woman who loves money and does like almost Gwyneth Paltrow-esque stuff with her money. Like, I go to the spa, I go to parties, I love to spend money. And actually, I think Jeff Bezos' wife is probably quite intelligent.
Yeah.
And has a business of her own, or has a job, and
also very low key. You do not hear much about her. You do not know
exactly
who she is.
And as I was watching this, I was like, obviously I get it. The comedic thing is, isn't it funny to watch someone who has no concept of money suddenly work at a company that is very, very aware of money? But it felt almost dated as a concept to me because of that. I think I would have been more interested in a woman who came in and was like very business minded but quite cold. And that was what her issue was that like in a charity you are dealing with people, and so you can't afford to be business minded because sometimes you're giving money to things that don't make money. Like, it's like, oh, if you give us this money, we're going to build shelters for dogs. It's like, but how will we make money back from that? It's like, we won't. That's the point. You just have given money from your heart. That's the point of charity. I'd have had more respect for a show, and I've been more intrigued in a character who was like my husband, I've always been about the bottom line. And suddenly, my husband is no longer in my life, and I've inherited this charity, and my attitude towards money doesn't work here. And so I need to learn how to give money to a cause that needs it, as opposed to giving money to a cause that can make me money back.
And that's it, again, it's all going back to the whole idea of like the selfless good deed. That's what I was thinking of. There's an episode in Friends. Sorry, it's a completely different sitcom.
It's a comedy.
But there's a comedy. Right? There's an episode in Friends when Joey and Phoebe are arguing about there is no such thing as a selfless good deed, which means that if you want to do something nice for someone, you're doing it because you want to feel good. And throughout the whole episode, the debate about what is a selfless good deed, like, you know, Phoebe would do something that is going to inconvenience her ultimately, but she's like, I'm doing a good thing. And then Joey would be like, well, actually, you feel good about that, then hence it's not a selfless good deed. And that's what I was feeling as I was watching some of the episodes, especially when you get to the resolution at the end, like when she decides to give all her money away.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we will get to that part because it's interesting. But is that the whole idea of like, you know, being selfish versus being selfless, you know, trying to be like anti-capitalism, but also understand that capitalism got you to where you are. Understand that you still need to have money to make money, but you still need to have money to be able to do good, even though money can be the source of all evil. So that was interesting in that aspect. But is it a sitcom? Is it a comedy? No, that's not a premise for a comedy. For me, it's a drama.
I think you could do a comedy, right? I feel like had they taken their premise a little bit more seriously, they could have done a Succession-esque show about a woman who finds herself at the top of this charity, and actually made a satire out of the pureness of charity work and the genuineness of charity work, and the push and pull between those things. It's like, oh, we could give money to some homeless kids in South Los Angeles, but no one would see that or care about that. Or we could invest in a water company and everyone would talk. Like though that to me there were moments of it where I was like, this is almost close to something that you could parody in the same way that Succession makes fun of media in the way they have the Roys in the situations they have the Roys dealing with. And there's a moment in the show where there is a I thought this was done quite well actually on the show, where Molly comes in and she's like, I had a really great day, let's toast to my really good day. And on the news there is a theme park where some people have been stuck on a ride for like 7 hours, and she's like, well, obviously let's not toast to that. And everyone's like, cool, don't toast to that. And then hard cut to Molly, you own the theme park that this thing has happened at. And she explains that, like, basically when she got divorced, she just got literally split down the middle half of her husband's assets. So there are businesses that she doesn't even know she has. And I was like, that's really interesting actually. You can mine a lot of story out of, here is a letter saying you suddenly own a school.
Yeah, and that's it.
And what does that mean? And the school's not making money. Yeah. So Molly has to make a choice between keeping the school open and essentially funding it herself, form of philanthropy, or binning the school so she can save money to put money into these other things that bring more PR towards her. So you could definitely play with the way that, like, a big scale charity is about PR. Yeah. It is about PR.
Oh, absolutely. And actually going back to the point you mentioned about, like, the serious character who is, like, trying to make a difference in the world and having, you know, her being in an alternative world, having this comedy where she is actually really business minded and business savvy, and, you know, it's her kind of like fumbling and trying to figure out what to do with all this money. I feel like we kind of had this character in the show already with Michaela's character. No, but see, this is the problem. Michaela's character, because to me, she gave, so that's Sophia's character played by Michaela. I feel like I got more comedy from her role when she was like, you know, I think she said something like, oh, you need to prepare me for this. I want them to see my, like, soft interior. And she said it in such the hardest way. And I was like, that's actually quite funny. There was also another bit where Molly came in and she was like, I was in a chat with, this is like in the first episode or the second episode, where she's like, I'm having a really hard time, like, having a job because, like, I just don't know who I am. Like, I had a interview with Oprah, and I said to her, you know, you marry someone and they become massive, and you sort of get swept along in their journey, and you just have no sense of who you are, and, like, taking this job is my opportunity for me to figure out who I am. And then Sophia's just like, yeah, I don't care about any of that. And I love, because I was like, for once, somebody hearing this long ass speech and being like, anyway, what's that got to do with anything? Yeah. I think you are ruining our business. Yeah, she gave the comic relief where it's needed in the most ironic way. Not like Kieran Culkin in Succession, where Roman was always just like gag, throwing cheap shots left, right, and centre, and being the comic relief. Sophia was the comic relief by being the antidote to It's so funny that you think Sophia was your comic relief, because Howard was mine. Howard was at times, but like. Howard was mine. I found Sophia sometimes, I couldn't work out if she thought she was in a drama or comedy. Like, some of the performances felt to me like drama performances. Yeah. And I get why you would ask her to do that in a comedy, because it's funny to have someone delivering. Because honestly, I guess this is also a pseudo review of Succession, but there was an article that said that Kendall, the guy who plays Kendall, is playing it like it's a drama. Yeah, I'm not surprised. But he would say, his performance is a drama performance. Yeah. And that's what makes it work in the show that is Succession, because the show that is Succession is inherently funny. And you couldn't laugh at Kendall unless Kendall took his life seriously. So the actor of Kendall takes Kendall's life seriously. Yeah. And that's what makes Kendall so funny, because we are laughing, I guess, at this person who unironically thinks he's really cool. Yeah. Like, him doing the rap on his birthday, the actor had to take the rap seriously because Kendall took the rap seriously. Yeah. We at home could laugh at it because we were like, what is he doing? You have no right. Like, what are you doing a rap at your birthday? Like, you are the whitest, richest person on the planet. Like, this is crazy. But it works because he was doing the drama. And I felt like in some places Sophia was playing straight, but not in the way that was like, the accountant, what's his name? Oh, the big guy, tall guy.
Arthur and Luke, to me, is the quintessential straight man because he delivers all his lines 100% committed to this character as I'm an accountant who's kind of down on his luck, you know, got divorced, big divorce guy, I love my daughter, I'm going on a date again, it's kind of weird. I believe him 100%. In some places I felt like Michaela was playing Sophia as if Sophia was in a drama. Yeah. And then in some places would suddenly be like, hey man, if I ask for a ice cream sundae, can I get it? Like when she goes to Molly's house and they do the tour, and I was like, oh, I like this because it feels like you're peeling back layers of this character. And real character development in a drama was, that would be the version that you met going forward. Yeah. But every episode she was back, walls up. Yeah. And that was really confusing for me. I was like, you're either walls down or you're walls up. You can't be both at the same time.
I agree. I mean, I do think that Sophia, played by Michaela, I think her role was needed, and I do agree there was a bit of up and down, it wasn't consistent, but I found that the level of comedy in the show was so shallow that I needed an anchor, and Sophia was a bit of that anchor when I was watching, in the sense that she added a bit more, like, not heart, she did, she added more heart, a bit more grit to the show, whereas when I was watching it, I was like, this is a poor man's Parks and Rec. And I thought it was funny that when I was thinking of that about it, because the show's about Luton being rich, but actually it's a poor man's.
Yeah, you can do yourself, because I'm not going to. I will say this. I think that the main issue with the show is that it has so many big hitters on it, like actual comedians. Like, when Parks and Rec started, the only people that were noticeably comedians on that show was Amy Poehler as Leslie Knope. Yeah. Everybody else was new. That was for me. That was my introduction to them. Yeah. And a lot of those people have gone on to be stars. Yeah. I mean, Chris Pratt is a fucking marvel.
Flipping heck, yeah,
which is crazy. Honestly, I can't get my head around that. Aubrey Plaza is in the new season of White Lotus, and she's brilliant. Yeah. And all of them were their characters, and it was believable because I guess you didn't know them from anywhere else, so you just were bought into them as like, this is who you're saying you are, this is who you are. I feel like with this, it had a lot of heavy hitters, but it didn't let those heavy hitters heavy hit, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like, Maya Rudolph, physical comedy-wise, is unmatched. We don't have a lot of people who, like, are nowadays, because physical comedy feels so, like, base now and cheap. Yeah,
that's the thing. That's what the comedy was giving me. Cheap.
Yeah, and we don't do that so much now, but if you could do comedy, physical comedy, like, Mr. Bean is unmatched, because no one can do what he did in a way that was, like, inviting and made you want to watch more episodes of it. And there's a point, I think it's episode 3, where Molly goes on Hot Ones.
Yes.
And Maya Rudolph acted like she's eating, because remember, this woman is not actually eating any hot damn wings. This is all acting.
She actually did go on my Hot Ones.
Yes, as Beyonce.
Yeah, oh my god.
That's why, so she's done Hot Ones twice as two different characters, not herself.
Cause I remember thinking, like, I've seen her on Hot Ones. I'm sure I've watched it. As
Beyonce.
Genius.
And when, honestly, that entire exchange of her on Hot Ones in that episode, I was like, this is what this show should be from start to finish. Like, the energy of this, which is, like, very electric, and you're watching this character come undone. Yeah. Is what these episodes should feel like. Yeah. This is a woman who's lived her life a very specific way because her husband was basically a superstar. Husband's not there anymore, and now you're in spotlight. Oh, shit. I'm not as charismatic, or I'm not as polished as he is. So if you put me on Hot Ones, I'm going to be effing and jeffing after the second wing. And I'm going to be crying and throwing up. I want to go home. I'm calling you a bastard. Like, that is the exchange. And that's what I felt like the show was missing, is like letting Maya Rudolph just be Maya Rudolph on the show. It felt very contained. Yeah.
And that's what is very synonymous with, I was going to say, network television, quote unquote. I saw, of course, it's an Apple TV Plus original, but it's actually also part of Universal. And when I saw it, I was like, this is a type of show. If I was in America, I would see this on NBC. This is the type of show that I would see as like a traditional...
It felt very safe.
Yeah, a very safe, traditional sitcom.
With some swear words.
Yeah, it was a bit risky from time to time. But this is the type of show that you will see on NBC, like we saw with 30 Rock, like we saw with Parks and Rec, like we saw with Friends. It gave me that era. I was like, the only thing that's missing really is a laughing track. Because that's how it felt like that type of comedy. And maybe I wasn't expecting it, even though we chose this show. And also, again, because it's a streaming platform, those type of shows just don't translate as well when it comes to streaming platforms in comparison to like a linear
The average score for this show is a 6 on IMDb.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I honestly feel like the problem is it feels, that kind of comedy feels dated now.
Yeah, it is,
like what we're doing comedy-wise, we're doing any genre-wise, it's so much bolder. And I think also people are watching it knowing what these people can do.
Yeah.
Like, I know that Maya Rudolph can deliver more than she delivers on that show. Rob Funches can deliver more than he delivers on that show. Yeah. He has moments on the show that are fun, but they're not like, this is not memorable. No. It's not like, damn, I was writing a comedy, but I'm going to put it in the bin because this is doing, like, Joel, like, the moments where Nicholas, as the assistant, works to me is where he's in his full sort of bitchy gay, and I know this is a stereotype, but like, in that bitchy gay thing, and elevating it. So there's a storyline, and like this is the other thing, I just feel like storyline wise, I forgot about storylines every other episode. That he auditions for a play in episode 1, which he performs in episode 7. I was like, no, there's no play that takes that long. Shut up.
No, it reminds me of Harlem, where there's like, they're doing like a theatre dramatized performance of Get Out, and it's just the oddest thing.
He auditions. And in the second episode, I should say, he auditions in the second episode. I felt it was a really weirdly matched episode energy-wise because they were like, Howard and Nicholas are going to be best friends. I was like, these could it be two more opposed characters?
I didn't know where it was going. I thought if they try and make this a romance, it's not going to work.
It's not a romance, but even as a friendship, it just felt forced. And like, by the end, I'm not going to lie, I quite like the two of them together, but I'm like, what Parks and Rec does really well is like engineering situations in which people have to spend time together. I feel like this didn't spend time engineering situations and just would be like, Howard wants to help Nicholas. Why would Howard want to? What does this benefit Howard in any way?
I even think, back to like seeing scenes where like they're in the boardroom and they're chatting and there's banter. A show that did it really well in that setting was Blackish. Blackish, I don't know if you haven't watched one. Blackish, it was a really great show. It stars Tracy Ellis Ross, which I love.
Girlfriend?
Girlfriends. Yep.
The number one girlfriend.
Exactly.
Another nepotism baby.
We should actually
Maya Rudolph and Tracy Ellis Ross.
They are
the exact same. Should be the exact same person.
They should. I mean,
they're both as talented.
They are amazing. I mean, Tracy and
we should get the two of them in a movie.
That would be amazing.
Let's get two of them in a movie playing like cousins or sisters or something.
They have similar ages.
They must be.
They are 50.
Sorry,
they're
both of them are the daughter of famous black women singers. Yeah. How has nobody made a movie about this? And they can both sing. Well, Maya Rudolph can sing.
Yeah. And Tracy as well. Yeah.
There you go. They should be playing like aged Dream Girls. Like 50 Dream Girls in their 50s.
Well, Tracy Ellis Ross did a film very similar with her, like getting into the music industry. I thought it was called The High Note or something like that.
Anyway, it's me. I'm writing it.
Yeah. You know what? You can do it.
I probably could.
I feel like Issa Rae would be like, no, I actually want to write this.
And I'll be like, dearest Issa, here's the idea. You write it because I don't want to write.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you can get her to write it.
I'll be an exec. You'll be an exec. I'll get to meet Maya Rudolph and Tracy Ellis Ross, which honestly I would start crying. I think.
Can I come?
Absolutely, you can come.
Yeah,
you could do the poster.
Yeah, why not?
And you could do that. What I always love as well is when you watch a film, and the people are interviewing the press bit.
Yeah. Like, the behind the scenes stuff.
So who took the longest to get ready in the morning?
Oh my gosh! Of course it was Tracy. But have you seen her fashion?
Yeah. I want to do that. I want to do that, but I want people to not know who I am. No, so I want people to go away and be like, wait a minute, this woman also exec produced the show. She tricked us. She's exec produced the film and she pretended she was a nobody doing an interview. Like, hi guys, I'm really nervous.
I remember when I read Shonda Rhimes' book, which is over there, in this room.
Yeah, I love the listeners are like, oh yeah, we can see it.
Over there, yeah. Sorry, Shonda Rhimes' book, she says that she's super shy. She never wants to do interviews. It took her a very, very, very long time for her to start doing interviews. And she started to do it more and more with the cast. So she would do it with like Viola Davis and Kerry Washington. And that's how she was able to gain her confidence.
There is like a list of women who, if I ever met, I would just immediately start crying.
Shonda Rhimes.
I think I would start crying.
Shonda and Issa Rae, I think.
Issa Rae, I would start crying. Michaela Cole, I'd start crying. Viola Davis, I think I would start crying.
Yeah.
I think I would just start crying.
Kerry Washington.
I'd be like, why did you pick Fitz?
I'll be like, you go, girl.
Kerry Washington, I think we need to hold hands for a minute at the beginning. Just to orientate myself and be like, I'm sat in front of Kerry Washington.
I think she will be the most amazing person just to hang out with. And she's
I,
so down
off
to earth.
air, I'd be like, if you had to pick Fitz or Jake.
Should have picked Fitz. 100%. I would have picked Fitz.
And the interview.
No!
Wrap it up!
Why? You would have picked Jake.
Jake wasn't problematic.
But Fitz was the president. Fitz was the president. I'm sorry.
Show, we'll get into this.
Yeah, live show, let's go back to the thing. So anyway, Blackish, going back to it, the show features Tracy Ellis Ross and Anthony Anderson. And one thing about Blackish, what they did really well is there were scenes where you'll go to Anthony Anderson's workplace, and I'm trying to remember what his actual real name on the show was, which was Andre. You go to Dre's workplace, and there will be many scenes around the boardroom where there's different colleagues. Of course, Dre and one other colleagues were the only ones that were black. So there was a lot of like ripping around like the differences between black and African Americans and white Americans. But it was really funny, really quick, witty, and really beautiful situational comedy in that space. So that was really perfectly timed and perfectly done in that show. But when it came to the scenes where they're in the boardroom and they're like trying to gel, it just never connected. And it wasn't funny. I felt like it felt very forced.
Too many characters as well.
Yeah.
I think, no offense to the two white women, but those two white women should not have been in the room.
Oh god, I even forgot they were there,
Because they didn't add, their jokes never landed. No. I think it should have been her assistant, which is Joaquin Booster's character, Nicholas.
Yeah.
Sophia.
Yeah.
The accountant for some reason. And I'm not going to lie, the first 3 episodes, I was like, stop featuring this accountant. He's an accountant.
No, when they did that...
I'm sorry, my workplace, the accountant is not the main character.
No, but the accountant was there because I knew it. It was like, that's a love interest. And I love romance.
I'll allow it. I'm genuinely, I would allow it. He seemed... Her buying him the...
painting, that was really sweet.
Yeah, and then him being like, right, I'm going to throw the painting out because like nothing's going to ever happen between us. Hold on a second, I really do want the painting. Yeah. Hold on a second, what does this mean? I'll put it in my closet.
Polish. Yeah.
I like the energy of it because equally, we've just had a conversation where you said nothing is going on here, nothing can happen here, and you're like, got it.
Yeah.
I don't want to get my hopes up then, so I should not hang up mementos of you in my home because I'm going to fall in love with you. Yeah. I don't want to fall in love with you, so leave me alone. So I'd have him and I'd have Ron Funch's, Howard. And I think I'd make that the team. And I get why people didn't do that, because that would have been literally 5 people of colour.
Yes, and?
Oh wait, 4 people of colour and a white man. Sorry, no offense, 13. 4 people of colour and a white man. I feel, but those ended up being the only speaking characters anyway. So why have those other 2 people in there?
To balance.
It was stupid. Howard's storyline, where he is preparing for the play, I personally would have liked if he would have had a storyline that was closer to the main storyline of the show. It felt too distant. It also felt too convenient in some way. Like, oh, the assistant wants to be an actor. It's like, yeah, because every assistant wants to be an actor. Like, some assistants don't want to be actors. Some assistants just want to be
good assistants, yeah.
Yeah, all good assistants. Yeah. So that felt weird to me. Howard being so overly invested. I'm not going to lie, I loved the moments in which Howard and Nicholas connected over his acting.
Yeah.
There's a moment I really enjoyed where Howard is trying to... Nicholas says, like, oh, I don't cry. Like, I just can't cry. And then Howard's trying to show me videos where he cries and he's just, like, staring at him and me like, this is lame. Also, I fucked up my hand.
That was so funny. That was funny.
This is so weird.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is real in terms of a person who is not emotional. And then he tells a story about how he grew up, which is not unlike Joachim Booster's real life.
Oh, really?
Grew up with white parents on a farm.
Oh, wow.
Homeschooled, like the whole shebang. Yeah. Very Christian. Yeah. Knowing that you're gay that whole time. The disconnect that must provide or create, and how that would make you sort of like resistant to being emotional because you didn't grow up with particularly emotional people. But I thought the way they resolved that story, where he just has a hug and then is suddenly crying, it just felt so like you've seen all of the choices that they make story wise. You've seen before. Yeah,
that's why it felt a bit cliche. Again, that's what I was saying. Cheap gags, cheap laughs. Nothing really giving you extra. Again, I've watched this show before. Minus $86 billion. And that's the problem.
That was the problem. I feel like it didn't lean on its comedic talent enough. And it made such obvious story choices.
That's the thing.
Like the uptight boss. Every boss is an uptight boss. Yeah. When have we ever seen literally in Parks and Rec, Ron is not uptight. Yeah. That's what makes him fun and exciting. Yeah. He kind of, it's anti-establishment. It's like, well, how's he ended up being the boss of this department? Yeah. And Leslie says, like, it's crazy that he's the boss because I care more about this department than he does. Yeah. And you're rooting for her to one day to run this place because he doesn't want to be here.
The soppy, quiet, angelic guy who falls in love with the main boss lady.
He's not soppy, he's not angelic.
What Adam Scott's
he's uptight.
I don't know. Adam Scott's but at the beginning, but at the end, he's like, "I'm in love with you, Leslie."
No, but they fall. But that's what I like about the two. That they fall in love because they're both people who are really passionate about their jobs. Yeah, that's what brings them together. Not that he's soppy, not that he's angelic. She's passionate about her job, and he finds that attractive, and he's passionate about his job, and she finds that attractive.
But then either way, you have
that. This goes back to what we were talking about the bear.
Yeah,
I ship a relationship where there are just two talented people
who love their job
and can appreciate how much that other person loves their job.
Whereas with this show, the love interest that they're trying to build with Arthur and Molly it didn't feel like there was like a very strong foundation, but there was some really sweet moments where he was like breaking down her walls and like she was feeling a bit more human, bar like the money and the persona that she was putting on.
It was a romance that was a little bit unbalanced because by the third or fourth episode they're basically on a day-long date.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And then nothing else happens. Yeah. For like 4 or 5 episodes and you're like, that's not how you build a relationship. No. I would rather you didn't have anything happen for 4 or 5 episodes, then they go on this date episode and something changes.
Yeah. No, but I think in that period he goes and tells the other guys, oh, I fancy Molly.
Yeah, but I mean...
But then she's moved on. And he's moved on.
I will say this is one thing I did like. Yeah. Because I was thinking, you've introduced a love interest who is part of the main team and who we're supposed to root for. But you've also introduced a love interest who is Molly's speed. Yeah. He's a billionaire. He's French. Yeah. He has his own business. He does a lot of philanthropy. Molly goes to a meeting with him and she thinks it's a date, but then it turns out to just be a meeting. You're like, oh no. Yeah. But then it turns out he does like her. You're like, yay! And you're kind of like, oh, maybe Molly's finally found someone who's right for her, who does what she does. Yeah. But you slowly start to learn, and I don't know if you felt this, but before they even got to that summit, I was like, this guy throws money at issues. Problems, and maybe that's not the right guy for Molly because she's just come out of a relationship with a guy who throws money at issues, who was cheating on her. Yeah. So she perhaps needs someone a little more down to earth. But I really like how they played that story. So it wasn't just like, I'm trying to steal Molly's money. It was like, no, I am actually a billionaire.
Yeah. So I don't need your money.
I don't need your money, but I equally don't do the work. Yeah. Because I'm a billionaire.
And that's the thing where you saw the difference between her relationship with that, I think his name was Olivier, and Arthur was the vulnerability, which I was saying before, like that, going back to the bear, that was adding extra points to him because I find vulnerability so attractive in a man. And with Arthur and Molly, they were always like vulnerable, like breaking down the walls, being like really honest about like how they felt after their divorces. Whereas with Olivia, what were they even talking about? Like, they're just talking about how beautiful Italy was, and his house was, or you know, like the lifestyle that they had, but not really going any deeper than that. So I like the difference between the relationships, or what they were trying to show. Like, he's here for a good time, but not a long time.
It could have been there for a long time, but I think the problem was that Molly was on a journey where she didn't necessarily like the person that she was before.
Yeah.
And because she was changing, it made it difficult to be in a relationship with a man who is very much part of that world that she's trying to leave.
Yeah. However,
and I feel like, in a similar way to The Bear, this sort of found its stride in the latter half of the series.
Yes.
So, Molly is dating Olivier. She has a good relationship with her workers, and is trying to even mend bridges in her own family, because it turns out that she's sort of disconnected from her family since she married John, and is a bit uncomfortable about going back to see them, because she feels like there's sort of animosity there.
Can I jump in and
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
I feel like it's quite interesting, because I take her back to her black side of her family, and maybe it's more of a thought, but did you feel like they were trying to make mention to the fact like she felt disconnected from her black side of the family because she married someone who was not black?
I feel like they weren't trying to say that, but I feel like what I kept thinking as the show was going on was that, like, you've mentioned that she's a woman of colour.
Yeah.
2, we know Maya Rudolph.
Yeah.
So we know that she's black.
Yeah.
And there are no black people aside from her cousin.
Yeah.
And Sophia.
Sophia.
In her orbit. And in her close friends, when she goes out with her close friends, they're all white.
Yeah.
And the thought in my head was, and I'd love to know what the listeners think of this, because this is a conversation that we have as a production company internally about this argument between having a black character who happens to be a black character, and it's not the whole point of the show, should be a thing. But equally having a black character and also portraying their blackness in full should also be a thing. Yeah. And as I was watching the show, I kept on moving from camp to camp. Yeah. In that, like, this show is not about being black.
No.
But equally, Maya Rudolph is black.
Yeah. But
so how can we just disregard her blackness for an entire series?
But maybe that was not the focus. I mean...
No, and that's what I'm saying. As I was watching it, I was like, this is not what the show's not about race.
Yeah.
But equally, why are we not seeing any people... she doesn't have any friends who are black. Yeah. She doesn't have any family that are black until we go to visit the family, like episode 6 or 7. Yeah. I was like, this feels weird to me. This feels like when you cast a black person for a character that you'd originally written as white.
Yeah.
And so their entire world is white.
Yeah.
But they're black in it.
Yeah, but I think the story and the show was written around Maya. Like, you know, when a show is written and they have already their star in mind, they had Maya in mind for this story. And I'm like, if you look at her real life, she's actually married to a white man.
But just because you're married to a white man doesn't mean that your family isn't... Like, I have mixed race cousins.
Yeah.
And the large majority of their family would be black.
That's true.
Just based on the way that their father and mother's side have gone on to have children. Or if your mum's the only child, and she's white, and your dad has 15 siblings, the majority of your family's going to be black. Yeah. And it feels weird to me that you wouldn't show that. Yeah. Or even if that's Maya Rudolph's experience, you haven't set up this character at all. Like, I'm so sorry. And I think that's the thing I was thinking in my head. It's like, if I was going through a divorce and I was losing one sense of family, I'd probably want to double down into my other sense of family. Yeah. This character apparently doesn't have siblings. No. So your cousins are your siblings. Yeah. And we should have met those cousins, I feel like, earlier.
Yeah, I think that would be helpful. I think that's why Howard's character became more prevalent, because it's like, he works there, and he's her cousin.
But in that first episode...
Time you even forgot. Like, I thought it was a joke.
In that first episode when he said, oh, I'm your cousin, she's like, Sure.
Oh my gosh, yes, she
As
does.
if she doesn't know who he is. Whereas when you get to that family episode, Howard is a staple.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, remember how
I think
like,
so.
you didn't know this dude but 6 months, a month ago.
I think when
it make sense.
When they were reading the storylines of each episode, they realised, wow, we've not mentioned anything about her family. She has no backstory.
Yeah.
It's giving me like Sex and the City. When you think about Sex and the City, you do not know any backstory from most of the characters that are there, apart from Miranda, who her mum passes away, and there's a funeral, and you see that part of her story, but you don't know anything about anyone else. And a lot of these sitcoms, actually, you don't know. Actually, no, Friends are like, you do know about the family.
Well, you know about Monica.
You know about Monica and Ross. You know about Rachel's family. Whereas this one, it felt, it was missing. And I think for me, that when I pointed that point around, like the connecting with her other side of her family, or the quote unquote black side of
that's
family.
her family.
But, yeah.
She doesn't introduce any other part of her
And
family, so that is her family.
Yeah. But I was like, did it feel like it was just shoehorned in? It didn't feel organic to me personally.
I felt like, and I wonder if this, again, this is what I mean about, there are two camps of this, because I wonder if we've just moved to a place as a society, as people that make TV, that you can't have a character of colour and act as if there are no people of colour in their life.
Yeah.
I found that episode, I've really enjoyed that episode actually.
Yeah.
I thought it was really fun, and I actually felt like the character of Molly slotted right into that family.
Really? I felt like she felt awkward. I mean, some of that may be due to the
Issue between her and her cousin.
Renee, yeah. But she felt like a bit like detracted from it. That's why she was like, I'm coming in and tell me all the backstory of everyone again.
No,
like,
I feel like time has
disconnect.
100%. I feel like time has passed, but I feel like she's slotted in a way that's like, there was a time where these people were close, because that is what she keeps coming back.
Yeah.
We like, this should be fine for me talking to him, because we used to be close. Like, I'm quite lucky. Like, I've not fallen out of touch with any of my cousins, but I'm trying to imagine a time where I hadn't spoken to my cousin for 5 years.
Yeah.
If I went back to her house, I imagine it would be exactly the same. Yeah. Where I'd be like,
that's true.
X, Y, or Z, remember when we used to do this, remember we do that? Like, first of all, I wouldn't even do all that. I'd be like, first of all, I'm here. So...
Is that it?
Shut your mouth.
Wow.
I'm the main character in this family, honey.
Wow. Where have you been for the last 5 years? Where have you been for the last 5 years, though?
I've been collecting money. What have you been doing? Do you even have a job?
Oh my god. Wow, yeah, that really choosing problems.
That's how I know my family would be like, we're back together again, because we're dragging each other, roasting each other, nobody's respecting anyone's boundaries. I'm in your house cussing you. Like, this is disrespectful, but
it's love.
It is. I like that episode because I felt in the back of my head a creeping question being like, are we really going to go a whole 8-10 episodes of this show and act like this woman isn't black?
Yeah.
Or there's no black people in her world apart from her cousin who she doesn't recognise.
Yeah.
Who could have been, like, the gag could have been that wasn't her cousin.
That is true. That could have been.
It was just a guy who was like, well, she's black, so I'm going to pretend to be a cousin. And then at some point, episode 6, she's going to start going for a family tree and be like, I don't know this guy.
It's just she does switch through me and she's like, nah.
Does anyone know Howard? And I'm like, there's no one called Howard in our family. She's like, hey man, did you lie? And he's like, yeah, I did. I wanted a job. That would have been fun.
Yeah.
That would actually really be fun.
Stupid, but
new. Like a new thing to say. And I think that's the problem. It didn't have anything new to say about any of the things. Like, it was very proud of its, like, I'm going to stop being a billionaire.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, I've realised, like, helping people is the main thing. And the only way to do that is to give them money. And we as people who have money don't really have the right to tell people who don't have money how to live their lives. So I'm trying to give all my money away. Yeah. That was what the show was gearing towards in terms of, like, what its big new edgy statement it had to say.
Also her redemption arc, like, she was spoiled and up herself and self-absorbed, and now she's completely selfless and she's considerate and, you know, thinking beyond her means. That's
why I wouldn't have played, because I feel like that spoiled princess storyline is so
overdone.
Yeah, I wouldn't. That was what was. There was a thing every episode I felt like, this is not hitting. Why is it not hitting? And I was like, because I feel like inherently this storyline is dated.
Yeah, it is.
And it doesn't have anything to say about how we live now.
Yeah.
Because most rich people are conscious of their richness.
Same
and trying actively to pretend that they care about people.
Yeah, like Bill Gates and Melinda Gates. I mean, they're divorced now. That's why I was thinking about the story when I was watching it. I was like, this is like Melinda Gates, or this is like Jeff Bezos' wife. So that's the only thing that felt current. Like, oh, this is very similar.
But and then it sort of presented those two women who, honestly, I don't believe that you marry. Like, it's not an accident that you marry a man like that.
Yeah, no.
You haven't fallen into that. You're not a dummy who's married a rich guy a smart guy by accident.
Yeah.
You saw something in them. You understood what they were working towards. And in this show, which I liked, actually, that they said this is like, you supported him while he was working on this thing.
Yeah.
You were the one fielding phone calls when people complain about, oh, this tech doesn't work, that doesn't work. By his side that whole time, now he's rich, he wants to be going out fucking young girls. You are entitled to that money because you worked on that money. You paid his rent for years when he didn't have a job. Yeah. So you had a job. So that's why I found it really weird that they presented her as a person who apparently has never worked a day in her life.
Yeah. And he kept on like taunting her like, well, you didn't really deserve it. You didn't deserve the $86 billion. I gave it to you. I made the money and you have now benefited from it. Yeah. Which is very interesting why at the end...
As much as I'm saying a lot of this felt predictable and sort of dated, there was one thing that made me scream in my home on a Sunday.
Yeah.
So Molly is dating Olivier. They've decided to invest in a water system that turns wastewater into clean water in a click of a finger.
Yeah.
As if that's not what the whole sewer system is doing anyway, but work. They go to a conference, and Sophia, rightly and also just felt narratively weird, and it didn't need to feel weird. Sophia's like, I don't think you should back this thing. And what they should have done is have Sophia said, I've read the documents, and the maths is not mathsing. Because Sophia is not stupid. She runs this whole thing, so she must be clever. And she must regularly read proposals that don't feel sustainable and proposals that do. And should have said, like, based on like what I've read, this doesn't
make sense.
Yeah. And Molly should then turn around and done the thing that she does, which is that you don't like rich people.
Yeah.
You didn't like me when I first arrived, and now you don't like Olivier, and that's why you're not backing the idea. And that should have been the friction, is that like ultimately they're two very different people.
Yeah.
And even though Sophia's trying to genuinely help Molly, Molly is now backing her rich person high horse.
Yeah.
And nothing's going to bring her down.
Yeah.
Instead, Molly, based on nothing, is like, I don't think you should back this. And then naturally Molly is like, you hate me, so I'm not going to listen to you, I'm going to do this anyway. It's a very weird argument, based on no character development. Get to the presentation now. For some reason, Gator from Dave is on the show.
Who? Oh yeah, I haven't watched Dave.
Gator is their celebrity that they brought on to try the water. Molly pours a
glass of the water,
a Pyrex dish full of waste into the machine. Gets to the end, collects the water, and it looks dirty.
Yeah.
Gator is like, I'm obviously not going to drink that. Molly is like, I will have a drink of it. Because we have to, because we're being filmed. But the water doesn't look clean. Yeah. Anyway, she says she's going to have a drink of it. She has a drink of it. The water is clean, not clean. The time machine is shown to be not to work to the level that she says it does. And the presentation is a flop.
Yeah.
Olivia comes to her afterwards and is like, why don't we just move to Switzerland for 3 months and wait till this blows over and completely abandon our stakeholders and the people that believe in us? And at that point, Molly is like, oh, no, I don't want to do that with you. Like, I don't want to be that person again. I don't want to allow a man's decisions to inform my life.
Yeah.
So she breaks up with him. Sophia then comes and goes. Molly then offers her resignation to the foundation. Yeah. She's like, I'm a flop. I keep bringing flop energy to the foundation. I don't want to do that to you guys anymore. And again, Sophia, I get why she does it, right?
Yeah.
But based on the conversation that she has with Molly, I feel like the character development wasn't there for her to come all of a sudden be like, I'm not going to let you resign.
Yeah.
I need you. You've changed my life. You've changed the foundation. You're incredible. We need you. That conversation did not feel earned.
No, it's because I think that would have worked had the zoning proposal storyline, where they were trying to sort out the zoning proposal in California, and you could tell that actually Molly's involvement was actually going to help
what made it happen.
Is what going to make it happen. Had she found out that the proposal had been a success and had been accepted afterwards, after their big argument, I think she would have been like, oh, this is making me look at things differently.
Yeah.
I see the benefit of having someone who has a stature of Molly and also her money, who can make a difference, even though it goes against all my morals.
It was, there was lots of moments where you felt like the usefulness of Molly in the position that she is should be something that Sophia should take away. And equally, Sophia's hardworkingness is something, her work ethic is something that Molly should take away.
Yeah.
To lead to these two characters being slightly more balanced, but still needing each other.
Yeah.
Anyway, that doesn't happen. Sophia gets on the plane and says, Molly, don't quit your job, we need you. You're my best friend, I'll die without you. It was weird.
Yeah.
So Molly decides not to go. Comes back to the team, it's like, hey guys, I love you all. Let's just try it. Oh, I think after that is when she does the speech where she says, she goes back to the summit and she makes a speech where she says, I'm basically going to try and spend all the money that I've earned from this divorce on philanthropy or making people's lives better, because I don't think that billionaires are in a position to tell other people how they should live their lives. And instead, we shouldn't have billionaires.
Yeah.
Period. So I'm going to spend this money. She celebrates with the team. Arthur decides, tonight's the night. I'm going to tell her how I love her, how I feel about her. He goes off to speak to her. They have a conversation. Hard cut. As the script would say, smash cut.
Oh, I like that.
Smash cut to Molly waking up the next day.
I think we should put a bit of premise. He goes up to Molly and says, I've got something to tell you.
Yeah.
And she's like, what? Or something along that line. And
you're watching that scene thinking he's about to tell her that he has had feelings for her.
he's going to tell her that he has feelings for her. They're going to kiss. The end. Smash cut.
Smash cut to Molly waking up the next day. Something about the way she wakes up makes me think, ugh.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Perhaps she's not happy that she hooked up with Arthur. Was my initial feeling.
Yeah, because you know that there's a hookup because
somebody else is in the bed.
Someone else is in the bed. There's underwear on the floor. It looks like there's been an interesting night.
She gets up. She goes to the bathroom. Leaves the bathroom. Goes to check her phone. Looks at her phone. People are saying, "Wow, this woman is pledging to lose all her money, or whatever." She's looking out the window, and then she says, "Last night got a bit out of hand."
Yep.
Whatever. And there's a pause. And a body rises in her bed.
Wow.
And the body says, I'll say, and it's her disgusting ex-husband, John.
AKA Adam Scott.
Played by Adam Scott. Adam Scott is brilliant in this, actually.
Because
he makes my skin crawl. So at one point, so not only does he cheat on her with, I'm assuming, his assistant.
Yeah, the assistant, Haley.
He then does a Harry and Meghan-esque interview where he's silent or you silence, where he's like, the marriage wasn't working. I wish Molly the best.
Yeah.
But, she's not handling this well at all. Whatever. Molly then decides she's going to go on her own interview. That's what leads to the hot wings incident, where she's like, woo, this is my speed, whatever. The next time they see each other, she's won an award for Humanitarian of the Year at a foundation that he's a chairman on. And he decides he's coming to the ceremony. Yeah. And he's like, let's have a chat, you and me. You and me need to have a chat. She obviously goes, because of course you do, it's your ex, and you're like, I wonder what this is going to be about. He's going to tell me he regrets what he did, whatever. Get there and he goes, did you think you won this award by yourself? Because I'm a chairman, so how do you think they choose the winners? I got you this award because I feel sorry for you. And basically tries to completely steal her thunder and make her feel 2 feet tall. Yeah. And it works momentarily, but the team lifts her up. Yeah. And that's the last time we see him. during this very, very bad day at the summit where the machine goes wrong, she suddenly says she's going to spend all her money and he's texting her. And every time she sees the text, she's sort of just like, ugh, turns the phone over, puts it away. See a second text, we're like, ugh. And I was like, I remember seeing the text and I think, one, this feels like what an ex would do.
Yeah.
Especially a narcissist, which we've learned that John is.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, I wonder if that will be it. And then to find him in her bed, I was like, well, this is the payoff for those texts.
Yeah, and this is the twist that we weren't expecting.
I wasn't expecting.
Because it's like, we thought the door had closed. She had like gone out and said, you are below me, I don't need you, we are divorced for a reason, you're with Hayley, your assistant, enjoy your life.
Your child bride.
Exactly, yeah. Good luck, good life, have a good life. And then to see that he's in the bed, I was shocked as well, because I had to go and rewatch it. I was like, nah, I missed something.
I screamed.
I missed something. What did I miss?
I literally screamed. I said,
yeah.
no!
You see?
I said, no! And do you know why I screamed? Because I was like, this is like when your friend is like, I'm done with him.
Yeah!
I'm not going to see him anymore. That guy's dead to me. And then she calls you up and she's like, well, he called me and he was near my house, so he came round to collect his... And you're just like, right, where's the story going? And you know exactly where the story's going.
Yeah.
They're back together. That was why I screamed.
Yeah.
I said, this is a scream for all my girls. Yeah. This is a scream for all my girls. You've made a big mistake, honey.
Yeah, and then I went to go and check. I was like, is this show coming back? And it has been renewed for a second season, yeah.
Lovely.
So I was like, well... They've done two things. Either if the show didn't come back for a second season, I was like, you've given a really interesting ending to a series, but in the same breath, you've also opened a really great door for what series 2 could look like. So it's I'm intrigued, because I think had they just resolved the whole like Arthur tells Molly that he loves her, they kiss, they end up in bed together. You get the payoff, easy payoff, and there's nothing else to really discuss because like she's given all her money away. She's found the love of her life.
She hasn't though. She's in the process of giving her money away.
Yeah, she's in the process of giving her money away. She's found this guy who may be really good for her. This is most of the story. What else is in series 2 apart from a repetition of everything we've just seen? Unless we see romance between other co-workers, but I don't think I care about it.
Not you cheated with your husband.
Yeah.
Your ex-husband, because after he cheated on...
You, fam.
How does this even... What is
I was like, the girls who are just digmatized. Like, he must have some...
He's putting it down. He's putting it down.
But yeah.
He put his thing down, flip it and reverse it. That's what's happening.
Honestly.
And that's why the girls can't leave him. Even though her cousin said, I never liked him for you.
Yeah.
And you really should listen to your family when they tell you that. Because they're dead right.
Yeah, honestly. And I think I got the impression, like, when he entered the picture, she became very distant with her family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seemed like the relationship was all consuming.
Yeah.
Like, even if it wasn't that he was like, don't spend time with your family, spend time with me. It was the ups and downs of that relationship meant that it was a full-time job and you couldn't be there for other people the way you needed to be or where you were before, because you basically had to keep an eye on your husband in case he cheated on you.
Yeah. And also, like, she was constantly in his world. And so the minute that she's stepping out into her own world, her own profile, her own decisions, even if it was based on the money from the prenup or no nup, whatever, he didn't like it. He always felt uncomfortable by it. That's why he went up to her and taunted her when she was going to win the humanitarian award. That is why he was constantly texting her while she's in Corsica. Like, he never liked the idea of her winning. Winning and her being her own self.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of guys that do that. Like, he sees a girl, like, she's doing what she needs to do. She's living her life. She don't need you, boo. And that's when you're like, let me just squirm my way. Let me just resurrect myself. Let me just come and see how she's going to come and mess up her life.
Yeah.
Come on, girls. If you're in that situation, lads, ladettes, if you're in that situation, open your eyes. Let your eyes shine and see that these guys...
Shine your eyes.
Shine really your eyes, because these guys are waste men. Absolute waste men. So I've got one last point about the show, which I enjoyed, was the music. I really enjoyed the music.
God, I was literally thinking that as well when I was watching it.
I thought, when I was watching it, I was like, they've either gone into my playlist over the last, 10, 15 years and picked the songs that I enjoy. There was that song with Megan Thee Stallion with Big D Energy.
But that song is, is from a song called Genius of Love.
Okay.
I can't remember who sings it, but I couldn't tell which version of it was going to be until we got to the end. And
did they use that?
Megan comes in and
So
you're like, okay.
They used that instrument quite a few times. And then there was one time they used Dream Big by Jasmine Sullivan, and I love that song very much. And when they played it, I was like, wow, this is taking me back, because I really love the song. Yeah, the music is ironically very modern.
Yeah.
And very contemporary in comparison to what we felt the show was in terms of being quite dated.
But that's what, I'm not going to lie, it was very interesting to me, the music they were choosing, because there was a lot of like disco stuff. Yeah. There was a song called Free by, I think her name's Denise. And she does another song, she does To Be Real by Cheryl Lynn. Anyway, it's a bop, you would know it if I played it.
Oh yeah, no, Got to Be Real.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a song called Free by Denise Williams. And that just, unlocked a memory for me. And I was like, it's very interesting, because what are you saying when you play songs like this, in a show like this?
Yeah, it's true.
Like, songs like Big Dick Energy is like, oh yeah, it's modern, it's about money, it's about a woman feeling empowered.
Yeah.
I get why you put this in. Sometimes I was like they played I Gotta Stay Fly, by 3 6 Mafia.
I don't know.
But they played that song when they were in the private jet.
Oh,
And also I feel they play it when Arthur and Molly get the helicopter to go pick up his daughter.
Okay.
I was like, this stuff like this is like very on the nose.
It's
like,
true.
people are flying, so play a song about being fly.
Yeah.
But there was also points where the song was just like perfect.
Yeah. I do feel like I had this impression that when they wrote this show and they did the first couple of edits, they had different music, and they were like, well, it's starting to feel a bit like it's just not feeling fresh and poppy, and then they changed on the music.
It's not urban enough.
Yeah, I just feel like they changed the music after the show wrapped and when they were in like post-production. That's how I felt about it, because I've been on shows, well, I've not personally been on shows, but I have worked on shows where their first cut is just not hitting the way it needs to be hit, so they almost re-edited the show, not even by like a recut or like reshooting, but just changing the music, and it just changes the tone completely.
Yeah, 100%.
That's how I feel about this show.
There is a show that we're currently working on at work, and one of the story producer was like, oh, this cut, like the first cut that came in, she was like, this is awful, I hate it. She's like, there's a scene that's a sort of a tryst between two characters where it's about sex more than it is about romance, but the song that's playing over it is very romantic.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, then all you have to do is change the song. And she was like, it is crazy the power of a song in that moment to be like, you put that song on and suddenly this is a different thing. So different vibe, I 100% believe in the power of music. And personally, like, to me, I would always work music first. That's why I'm not like a director or whatever, because I would be like, I know exactly what song I want to play in this scene, and then I'll build the scene around the song as opposed to like writing a scene and then asking for the song to be in it.
I feel like if I wrote a show, I know like I've got a soundtrack already in my head.
Yeah, so do I.
But one day we should share notes.
Yes, we should.
Yeah.
I have several soundtracks. I have several shows.
Oh yeah, sorry, I have like one show, one soundtrack. But yeah, I think, should we just talk about ratings?
Let's rate the show.
So I would say it is an easy watch. If you want an easy, cheap thrill, which is ironic for a show called Loot, but a cheap thrill, a cheap comedy to watch, 30 minutes in the background, this is a good show to have while you're cooking. Did I enjoy it? Not massively. Was I entertained? It was okay. So I probably would give it like 3.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I give it a 3. I just feel like if you're lucky enough to like book genuine comedic talent on your comedy show, like, say what you will about Friends, these people were virtually unknown.
Yes, yeah.
It's not like you got 7 comedy seller comedians.
Yeah.
You got people and then you built comedy out. You based it on like their audition and the way that they were able to tell a joke. I feel like if you've managed to book 3 genuine people who've got sold out shows or, you know, do runs across the country that sold out, I actually think pull back on the writing
Yes.
at that point,
Yeah.
and you say improvise the scene.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Go to
what...
the scene, improvise the scene.
Yeah.
SNL is partly written, partly an improvisation show.
Yeah.
So that will be that Maya Rudolph skill. Rob Hunches is a comedian, he has to be able to think on his toes. Joel Booster is a comedian, he has to be able to think on his toes. These people will figure it out.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know. It feels wild to me to think that you could write a better line than a comedian in a comedy show.
That's true.
If you are not a comedian,
yeah,
I mean.
that's the thing. And it's interesting because even with Friends, even though they were unknown, like someone like Matthew Perry, like Chandler, he would improv quite a lot of the show. Like some of the most famous lines from the show is based on improv. So for me, maybe it was just way too structured, way too formulaic. It wasn't written for a streaming platform. I feel like this is an NBC show that they've tried to put on a streaming platform. Apple paid a lot of money towards it. But I need them to really start thinking about a streaming platform and write for one. You can really push the boundaries apart from just having swear words. Push the boundaries on the story.
The way you tell story.
The way you tell the story, the way that it's positioned. Give us more. Like, it just felt so light.
Like that first episode, like, they have Seal.
Yeah, and he just stood there and was like, yeah.
No, which is fine, but like if you're going to do that, like I'm expecting cameo every episode, and it doesn't deliver on a cameo.
But I don't think a cameo would help or resurrect the show.
No, I don't think it would. But like in terms of playing about with the idea of fame and richness, and being rich and how being rich increases your proximity to fame. Like it'd be interesting to see this person who hasn't earned, quote unquote, her money. Sitting next to these people who are like titans of business or whatever, famous, like her chef. Like the reason why they keep featuring her chef, her home chef, is because he's a well-known chef.
Oh really?
Yeah, he has a chain of restaurants. He's a well-known
chef.
Yeah, and so it's all of the scenes where they have him and they're like, sorry, this isn't good enough. Like the joke is that they're talking to an actual person who runs restaurants and telling him that his food isn't good enough. But for that to work, you need to know that that is who that is. Yeah. And actually, I think if you're not actually a rich person, you don't know who that is. Exactly. No. And even me watching it, like I didn't recognise him, but I got the impression from the way he was acting that he was a regular person pretending to be. He was like, oh, I'm so sorry, Molly. Oh. I didn't read it. I was like, this is not an actor. This is not an actor. So this, and the fact they keep repeating his full name.
So is David Chang.
David Chang.
So yeah, I've googled him. He's a chef, Momofuku Noodle Bar in New York City. Yeah. Yeah, that's why that running joke was there, but.
See, and that only works if you think your audience are people who would recognise. Yeah. Or even just hearing the name, if they didn't recognise the face, would hear the name and know who that is. Yeah. And I don't know. I wonder if that's the other problem with the show, is that it didn't quite understand its audience. Yeah. Because it played the comedy very, like... I was talking to someone about comedy today and I was like, it felt very junior. Yeah. Played the comedy very junior, as if we don't know what a billionaire is like. Yeah. But then it would have... people like David Chang in it, who you wouldn't know if you weren't a person who was lucky enough to go to high-end restaurants in New York. So it didn't make its mind up about who its audience was. And I just wish it even went, like I always say this about Succession, it doesn't give a heck about who you are. Yeah. And I think that's why it's not the most popular show in the world. Yeah. Like, regular people don't like... I say regular people. People who don't work in TV are not a massive fan of Succession.
People who are in media absolutely love it.
Love Succession, because we get all the references, right? Yeah. Regular people who are not savvy in all of the takeovers and the corporate buyouts and all that stuff, and understanding who the big families are in media, might not enjoy Succession. Yeah. In a similar way... you either go balls to the wall about this show and you say, this is what it's like to be a billionaire, and we're going to make references, and if you want to know, you look it up. Yeah.
Well, I think it's been an interesting one, and I'm glad that we reviewed it.
Yeah, what did I say? 3? I think I said 3.5.
What's your score? 3.5.
3 or 3. I'm just so mad because I just know
it could be better. It could be better. Big question: would you be watching series 2?
It was really easy to watch. And when I got to the end, I was a little bit sad because I was like, I will say this. Maybe I'm going to raise it to 3.5. There's not enough things for me on TV that are just easy watches. Yeah. That you can... I wouldn't say switch your brain... Like, yeah, you can... You don't need your brain for this show.
No.
When the comedy hits, it's silly.
Yeah.
So you don't need your brain for it. It's not these hard-hitting jokes.
No.
It's just like, dumb. It's, how is saying, I love how you say my name, Olivier. Say it again. He's like, Howard. And it's like, like, it's
So
stupid. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's dumb. It's dumb humour, but like, dumb humour is great.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just wish the show was a bit more gag then.
Yeah.
If it was going to do dumb humour.
Yeah.
Because it kind of had this dramatic element that made it feel like its humour was going to be really elevated, but it didn't necessarily have any elevated humour.
Yeah.
I can't think of one joke where I was like, that's clever.
Yeah.
I think there were jokes that I laughed at just because I was like, that's so silly.
Yeah, it was like, this is a moment where I'm supposed to laugh. Like, this is a pause for a laugh moment. But, yeah, it was okay. Yeah. It was fine. It just wasn't...
Yeah, it was just fine.
Groundbreaking, yeah. Hence fine. The 3. But anyway...
So, next week, what are we reviewing?
We are doing White Lotus.
White Lotus!
Yes.
Mike White, Theo James, Will Sharp, Aubrey Plaza, the dude from Sopranos.
Which dudes? We'll find out. We'll find out. Yeah.
I'm
excited because
some beautiful Italian people.
Yeah.
Some Americans. And two English dudes. Tom Hollander is in it.
Who?
Tom Hollander from Pride and Prejudice. He plays Mr. What's his name? Mr. Collins.
Okay.
He's tiny.
Well, you know how you like short kings.
Don't put your short kings energy.
I don't have short king energy. I'm all talking.
Listen, fam.
Tall kings only.
That's between you and your God.
No, my God knows. Tall kings only.
Your God knows your children are all going to be 5'2".
No, sorry. When I'm significantly taller than that.
Yeah.
Tall king energy only.
We'll
anyway, that has been a really fun episode.
If you say so.
Yeah, and this has been Scripts and Giggles.
Pause.
You idiots.
If you thought this was a fun episode, you better like the podcast and subscribe to the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're sitting in a house with no heating, no electricity. We are shaking.
In our boots.
We're wearing coats in the house, blankets. We're bald-headed.
Hashtag cost of living crisis.
Cost of living crisis has scalped us. We do not have wig. We do not have weave. We have nothing. No braids. Braiding hair now, £10 a pack. Can you imagine? It used to be £2.
The day that happened. No, we're not going to pray for that day.
We're not praying
for that day. No.
So like and subscribe.
Yes.
If you like and subscribe. If you like the pod, you like the girls.
Yeah, give us a rating as well.
Don't give us a rating.
No, but
it better be 5. If we get less than 5,
don't give us the same rating as we gave Lou.
If we get less than 5, we'll find you.
Number 1.
And we will kill you.
No, we will absolutely not. Scripts and Giggles do not condone violence.
But a single script, a single giggle does.
Alright, we are done. This has been Scripts and Giggles with Shoshanna
and Marnie.
Bye!
If we were married and you said to me one day, I don't want to be with you anymore, please don't steal all my money. I would say, do you know what? I respect you as a person, listener. And I won't take every single penny you have, but I will be taking half. And I will be starting a philanthropy. And the philanthropy is giving money to broke ass bitches like me. I will start a school teaching girls how to be, you guessed it, gold diggers with your money. I'll be like, look for those little sad loser boys, yeah, who like love school, whatever. Marry one, wait till he blows up, catch him cheating.
I'm done.
Empty his bank account. When he's crying, why, I didn't mean it. Get out of my house. They'll be like, please, I want to resolve it. Let's go couples. You'll be like, nah, I want the divorce. Because the divorce equals $. And staying with you, I'm bored.
I'm done. I'm absolutely done.
Bye!